You remember the story of this, George Lucas didn't pluck this out of nowhere, right? This was actually inspired. I would assume maybe Dune, but Dune was
But Dune was also inspired by the
Great
World
Depression.
Yeah,
So the situation we are today is very similar to the 1930s.
Okay, welcome back. Yamcha Sessions VFO VeryFastOne. Today we're going to be talking about tariffs.
Yeah.
Tariffs, manariffs. So MJ, please enlighten us. What should we know about? Oh, actually, okay. Maybe we start by asking, what do you think the tariffs are, and how do you think it will affect a Malaysian? So maybe we go one by one. But we know here MJ the economist over here. So you go Poige. What do you think will happen?
How? No idea.
Oh, okay.
like I know they announced tariff, and I'm like, cool.
Okay.
And then I moved on. I didn't even bother to know more. And I'm just going to wait for the shock. Maybe in the next coming, like what? That's gonna be.
Okay. So you're not sure lah?
I'm not sure, but that's why I'm so glad that they're having this.
Okay. Okay.
So
fantastic. Okay. Economics 101 with MJ today. Right? Okay. Ren, what do you think of the tariffs and how do you think it will affect Malaysians?
Tariffs, I mean, for my really layman understanding, is just an imposition of tax or imported goods lah. So from what I understand is like our discussion earlier is that like iPhones and all these kind of things that we buy, they'll be hike in prices lah, because they are products that actually American, and then they have parts that are from other countries, and if these countries are all imposed with certain form of tariffs, they will have to absorb these prices, and also they have to do a restructure of their
pricing mechanisms
and stuff.
Wait a minute. So what phone we are supposed to buy?
We will get to that in a bit.
So if they consolidate all this and then they price hike their iPhones or whatever it is, their goods that they supply to Malaysia, then we'll be buying like a very expensive imported goods lah.
Yeah, product.
So especially from America lah. That's what I'm trying to say. But we didn't impose any tariffs on America.
For now.
Yeah.
We should.
Because
47. We impose 47% on America.
Why are we not imposing water to Singapore?
Bro, if let's say the phone increased to maybe how much we usually buy, like 5,000 ringgit. So let's say they increase it to 20% or maybe close to 50%, let's just say from their side itself, right? So that's like 7,500. Then if we impose another 45% and then coming in, then it is what, 10K per phone? No, right? I don't think
I buy a car lah. At this point,
it won't
go to that.
It won't
go to that.
I will WhatsApp you. I drive to your house to reply you.
I think there will be some form of control lah, but it's just that
we don't know.
We don't know yet lah. I don't know unless our brother here, our guru can tell us better lah.
Our guru here shall enlightening us.
Him, he's just waiting to release. He's just.
I don't even know how to start actually.
There you
It's
go.
okay. I will sort of massage the situation so that everybody will get into the groove.
I can't get your hair.
That's the appropriate attire for discussing
I'm
tariffs,
losing it. I'm a Donald Trump.
Okay. So what I think is, I also was in Poige's position. I'm like, okay lah, what to do? Whatever lah, I don't care. And I was in bed, and then Jen was asking me, hey, should we buy a new iPhone? I'm like, why? Say tariff, then prices might go up. Straight, I go ChatGPT. How do you think it will affect us Malaysians? ChatGPT was very neutral about his conversation with me until I asked it to rate 1 to 10. What are 10 being very likely and 0 being very unlikely, prices will go up for iPhones. He straight said 6 to 7. I said, okay, next day buy phone. Fuck it.
6 to 7.
6 to 7.
From what?
I gave it a rating from 1 to 10. If 10 being very likely and 0 being very unlikely, will the cost of the iPhone or American products go up? He said 6 to 7. I'm like, okay, very likely lah, like that.
So you bought a phone yesterday?
I bought a phone on Friday.
Wow, ChatGPT doing sales better than salesperson.
So I thought about it, and I was pressing ChatGPT. I'm like, how is it going to affect? How's it going to affect? And actually, there are multiple reasons why I decided to get a new phone lah. One of them is being this also. So I was like, okay, I feel fear. Fuck it, I go buy. It's not, and I also in time to change phone lah. I was 13 Pro, so I'm like, okay lah, maybe about time lah. So 17 Pro, so I feel like the jump not that much. I digress, but basically I felt like, okay, I think there might be a price increase in things. And then I saw Singapore on a PM announcement straight. I am validated. My purchase, I feel good. So I will now pass it to MJ, and I want to ask, what are your first impressions first when the tariffs were announced?
This is actually a long time coming already. We tend to think that, and for a lot of people, we think that sort of everything began with Trump coming in with tariffs, but the core issues that led up to it, it existed before. Even during Obama's time, he already mentioned tariffs in certain arenas. It's just that this time Trump is actually broadening a lot of it with some exceptions, and later I can show the exception. So yeah, actually the tariff is very simple. It's just a tax on any imports coming in. So as far as the iPhone is concerned, it's very hard to predict how much it will increase. But it will not, it depends on how Malaysia responds. So if we put, let's say, tariffs, if we retaliate, which in my view is going to be really dumb for us to do, then straight away the iPhones will go up, right?
Yeah.
Because whatever the US is selling now, let's say 5,000 ringgit. How much is the phone now? How much?
Now, depends on the gig lah, but I think starting price is about 4.5 lah.
Yeah,
more or
let's
less
say it's 5 lah, right? It will only increase 50%, let's say, if we put, let's say, a flat out 50%
that's
tariff.
7,500.
The way you said 50% is too casual.
No. I said no. It will only be 50% if we put a tariff of 50%. Because it's imports coming in.
Bismillah.
Yeah.
Right? It's only now if the 24% that Trump imposes on some Malaysian industries is now, let's say we sell furniture, we need to sell 24% more
Extra,
to cover up the cost. There might be more actually, because I don't know how it will actually affect the P&L of a specific firm. But for simplicity, let's just say it's 24%. We have to charge more. So the Americans will actually pay more for our furniture until it becomes cheaper to manufacture in America. So then we will lose business. So the risk to us is a lot of our industry may not get this
business from America.
So directly, we won't get a hike in prices for iPhone. But indirectly, we might, because if other countries that supply parts to the US, because the final one is, I believe the US will eventually give it to our distributors here, like machines or whatever. And then they will give it to us, right? So that flow won't have any tax. But let's say with suppliers, let's say Taiwan or whatever.
To US,
they will fight. So Taiwan will then retaliate tariffs, let's say, for some of the parts of an iPhone. Then obviously Tim Cook is going to have to readjust the prices for iPhones. So it may increase that way. Now, that is the big question mark. How much of it is going to increase and flow to us? Could be less than 50%, could be more than 50%. That will all depends on how the negotiations which is going on right now with Trump and the rest of the country. But the more important thing is, the question is, why did it lead up to something like that? And the best way to why is this even important, right? So if we can pull up the whole the whole Phantom Menace Star Wars.
I should have started the podcast with this, actually. Because when I saw this and you posted on your Insta, I was like, no way, this is real lah.
So I'll just use the Star Wars analogy because it's a pretty good analogy, right?
You want to read it?
I mean, it's the Star Wars crawl, the classic Star Wars crawl,
the
intro, right?
The outro and intro lah, right? But intro for this matter lah. Right?
It's uniquely Star Wars lah, right? Tomorrow has engulfed the Galactic Republic. Taxation of trade routes to outlying star systems is in dispute. So anyways, why this is important, if you remember the story of this, George Lucas didn't pluck this out of nowhere, right? This was actually inspired, I would assume, some...
Dune.
No. Dune. From maybe Dune, but Dune was probably
Dune was also inspired by the
Great
world.
Depression. The situation we are today is very similar to the 1930s, but I'll go there before that. Anyways, the story of the Phantom Menace is that, if you remember, the Jedis were ruling everything, and everything was peaceful. There was really no fight or anything, right? But then everything started revolving around Naboo and the senators and all that, and then slowly that evolved into the Trade Federation, which is the guys with the droids, right? I believe, right? So that started a war, and the message is that tariffs are a form of economic nuclear bomb because it's an attack. It's always seen as an attack on you.
Is it?
It could be, but so then the fear is retaliation.
Yep.
So when everyone retaliates, then everyone will retaliate against each other, and so trade overall drop.
Yeah.
Just like it did in the 1930s. Now in the 30s is a bit different because the trade tariffs, it's called the Smoot-Hawley.
I just
The
listened to
Smoot-Hawley
this.
Tariff Act, okay. It's a bit different. It's instituted by Herbert Hoover, I think. It was done in response, I think 6 months after the stock market crash. So it was a response to the recession. Whereas now we are not in a recession, but Trump is actually preempting this.
Yep.
So the same logic underlies the tariffs, which is to protect their own industries.
Yep.
So in the case of the US, what are they trying to protect? And a big chunk of it is manufacturing jobs, right? Why Trump got elected is because he did talk about how he wants to help manufacturers, and he also talks like a working class person, right? He's a very relatable guy. He says what he thinks and things like that. So that's why he got elected. Now, if you can go to let me see.
I also want to add, right, that Hoover signing of that
No.
Herbert Hoover. What was the name of the bill he signed again?
No.
What was the bill he signed again? What was it called again?
Smoot-Hawley Tariff.
The Smoot-Hawley.
I think you need to download all the.
I like how
So
iPhone is the primary subject of
because
Because it's the most
Because everyone-
consumed product, bro.
not just that. Like, let me ask you a
Go
question.
to
also.
this. Go to this.
What are the products you consume day to day, right? And what do you use? So for me, the only American product I know is the iPhone
Yeah.
and the MacBook lah.
Exactly.
I don't know any others. The rest I usually use
Excel,
is like
Mac.
Chinese. I use Japanese. I use whatever.
Nvidia. So phone is going to be more expensive than
We don't know yet. We don't know
No,
yet.
not just that. I mean your software, your Netflix.
Oh
you use-
my lord.
Yeah.
Canva.
What's Canva?
Canva, sorry.
Canva.
Canva's
Canva.
Australian.
Canva.
Hey, Canva. They're Malay, bro, the way I say
Yeah.
it.
Bro, Apple TV, bro, gonna be expensive.
How about Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Also
So yeah.
American, bro.
Okay.
So this is a stat since 1947. Let's call it after the war.
It's
lah.
a North American.
So it came manufacturing share of US employment has dropped from almost 1/3 to now less than 10%. So a lot of jobs have been lost. Now, why is this happen? Why is all this happening? Right? Is because when the US won the war, it did something very unique, which no other victor in history has ever done, which is it basically allowed individual countries that have been decimated by war to rebuild their economies. And the way they rebuild is by going into the manufacturing sector. So the 2 and maybe 3 countries that are most famous for this will be Japan, Germany, and maybe slightly behind is Korea.
Uh-huh.
Now, not only then the US allowed these countries to have their own what we call industrial policies. So they set up trade barriers to protect their own industries from other countries like the US and all that to come in and compete with them. So over time, you start to see, that's why we're all used to Toyota cars, German cars, and then now Korean brands or whatever, right? Now, not only did he allow trade barriers for these countries to exist, and the US not retaliating anything, they also even gave funds. They actually gave relief funds for these countries to rebuild, right? So it did a very unique thing after a war, because usually if you win, right, like if you bomb Japan, right, most other people won't. In fact, no one would help in this manner, right?
Yeah.
But the US, being a benign power, allowed that to happen. Because that is what happened at that point in time. So all of this. Then they set up the World Trade Organization and many of this, and they want to promote free trade. But they also knew of these countries having protectionist policies, we call it. Now, one country that takes advantage of this would be Malaysia itself.
Hey.
So, for example, we don't know this, but or many of us are not aware, but the reason why Proton and Proton can be such dominant cars, even though we can easily compare the quality between Japan and Mercedes, the reason they can dominate is because they're much more affordable than other cars.
Yep.
But the question is, why are they more affordable? Are they affordable because our cost is like that much cheaper to produce the cars? The answer is no. The way we do it is by imposing this thing called an excise duty,
Which is the BMW
which
cost
is
mad lah.
very similar to a tariff. So we it's anywhere between 60 to 100%, this excise duty on foreign cars. Meaning, today, what is a Honda City? The lowest end is what, 85,000 ringgit?
Yeah.
Meaning, depending on
Import
how you
tax,
want to calculate, in the absence of these excise duties, actual cost to Malaysians, right, for a Honda City is closer to 50,000 ringgit.
Yeah. But
Now, if it's 50,000 ringgit, why would you buy a
Proton.
Myvi?
yeah.
You're driving a Vios, right?
Yeah,
Recall. How much do you get it for?
It's about 80, 90K, right?
So you probably
Yeah.
pay 50 to maybe 60
Yeah,
for a Vios.
nearly almost double the cost of it, right? Yeah.
Right. So this is, but you see, if of course we don't export any Protons to the US, but that has to do with how bad the cars are, right? They're not up to standard, right? And look, you have to admit that the quality is not there, because in order for us to do a lot of it, we need to bring in people like Daihatsu and all that to
help with the
so it's
technology and
like,
stuff, right?
How is that our own in that sense? Anyways, so but let's say we were to, I'm sure there are people in US, some people will buy some Protons. I bet it's
That's mad. Australia got I saw.
Yeah. But if you want
Some
to
hipster lah, bro.
want to export to the US, right? There's no such tariffs. It was 2.5%, I think, something like that. Whereas we impose all this. So the US being the largest economy, largest consumer in the world, is like, it's fine, no problem. Now, when they allow this, what happens is that over time, a trade deficit starts to happen. So if you can go to the trade deficit part, if you
The real question is, how are we going to make clips of this and post in TikTok?
I think the to answer your question is the relatability to the average Malaysian. So, for example, he's giving a very, very good context for us to understand how
the
these
car
things
thing
operate
is
first.
really
And it feels like
relatable.
So that's just car. Later I'll go on the exact item. So this is pre-current Trump, right?
Pre-Trump lah.
Pre-current, because this Trump 2.0 ma.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see, right, all these other countries, right, charge higher tariff and non-tariff barriers. Now, we are familiar with tariff because it's easier to calculate, right? I just slap a 40% or whatever, right? There are also non-tariff barriers. For example, the classic case I like to use would be China. They have the Great Firewall. So we actually run what we call a services surplus with the United States, meaning right now we have a deficit as a whole, meaning they buy more stuff from us than we buy from them. But from a service basis, digital service especially, so whether it's your Adobe or Netflix and whatnot, it's actually reverse. We actually buy more from Americans than they buy from us. Obviously, right? What do we have to offer them in services that they don't already have at a much better scale? So it wouldn't. That's why I would say if we negotiate with the US, I think it'll be a little bit easier compared to China, right? Because China, they sell a lot. They have a trade deficit of about trade surplus with the US, which is a deficit on the US side of about $300 billion. And part of that is because the US are unable to sell their own services to China because like Facebook, everything is not there.
Yeah.
So anyway, so China is the most egregious example, but you go down the list.
Australia also quite hardcore, the ratio.
Yeah. So the US TR, the US Trade Representative, I think they came out with a 400-page doc detailing every single country, what are the issues that they have. So Malaysia's one, actually, if you can go, the documents with a lot of words on. Yeah, so this is one.
God, bro.
So this is like banking, for example, highlighted at the top, right? Bank Negara only allows foreign banks to have 8 physical branches. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That means...
And then foreign banks cannot set up new branches within 1.5 kilometers of an existing local bank.
Damn, bro. Wait. So the 8 physical branches, they mean
so like
brands?
No, like
HSBC.
No, HSBC is UK, right? So, but I'm talking about let's
America
say
only
Citibank
or I see. Or Wells Fargo or whatever lah. I see.
Okay.
They only limit foreign banks to 8 physical branches in Malaysia. That means maximum 8 in the whole country lah. Per brand lah.
Yeah, per bank. Yeah.
So Citibank only can have 8 lah.
Yeah,
which
so
they
then
already
below you can see, right, there are restrictions on reinsurance. So we must choose a Malaysian reinsurer instead of a US one.
What is a reinsurer? Sorry.
So, you have insurance, right? Yeah. Insurance. So insurance companies also have insurance.
Okay.
So
okay.
like Warren Buffett, you all know, he's so rich, right? He actually provides reinsurance services. He insures the insurer.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
So who insures the reinsurers?
He don't have to. He's
The-
the final.
the biggest-
he's the final.
Bro, usually it's the Federal Reserve that
Yeah.
will reinsure your.
But Warren Buffett,
Yeah.
So then there are other ones quite funny. This one, shutdowns and other threats to open internet. Anyways, you can take a read. But long story short, I suspect, I can't confirm this 100%. It's basically, we cannot access to certain websites.
Oh, it's the rhymes with
Malaysia.
pornography lah.
Yeah. So that's something they brought
Geography.
up. But this is not the funny one. You got some other funnier ones you see.
Oh, I see.
What is one?
Oh, because we are an
Wanna go
Islamic country lah.
Okay, go. So they were pretty hard up about halal lah and all that. So that was another complaint that they have. Yeah, so this is the excise tax one that they have on.
Wow. What is excise tax?
it's-
the motor vehicles.
So
okay.
a tariff is a form of import duty. Okay, so a duty. So an excise tax is a type of duty. But anyways, a lot of it is just alphabets. They're very
Depending on
similar.
vehicle and engine size.
Right?
Wow.
So Malaysia maintains very high excise taxes on motor vehicles. All right, 60 to 105% depending on vehicle type and engine size.
wow.
bro.
This is this question, is this all public? Like
Yeah.
you can get it
Yeah,
right?
I can send you all the link later.
That is
it's
insane.
400 page. So again, go back. There's one more one. This one is my favorite. Concerns remain. So this is about IP. Counterfeit goods are widely available, as highlighted by the continued inclusion of PETALING street market in KL. So they went to the detail of saying, hey, you guys, and honestly, of all the things I want to remove, I think this one should be removed. I think we should freaking remove PETALING street from Malaysia.
Bro,
Because
are
they're
you
just-
serious? They actually send people here to go and investigate and then make like inference and studies to say
No,
that.
maybe they refer to other studies like this 2024
quite-
review of notorious markets.
They
for
wrote PETALING street in the report, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Crazy
So you
shit,
should see some of the Japan one. They have issues with like something like salmon imports. They had issues with specific. They're very very specific. So
But all Chinatowns also have counterfeit goods.
Yeah, but this is so
This one is
specific,
like
bro.
so specific.
That's
to,
quite wild, bro.
yeah.
yeah,
I
so
think
you saw
we-
my story, right?
It's widely known and widely shared.
If you saw my IG story, this is what I was referring to. I say that if we really comply with Trump, let's say, we would clean up PETALING street and make it 10 times better. No,
I agree.
10 times is so bad. PETALING street.
Actually, true lah. It's quite trash
It's
lah.
trash.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, would you ever buy anything?
And
from
I
Petaling
also
Street?
asked,
No.
and I also so actually all of us already feel the effect of tariffs, whether we know it, whether Trump is here or not. The big one I would say is this cars. We don't feel because we're all used to it,
Mm.
right? But just imagine a world where a
everything.
Merc
Yeah.
is sub 100K.
Damn, bro.
Some Mercs can be sub 100. I believe so, right?
Yeah.
180, 100. A-class.
No lah, not sub 100.
What's the
So,
cheapest 100? What's the cheapest Merc now?
A-class, I think.
Which is
The
How much?
the
How much?
smallest
100K,
around.
right?
After discount, you can probably get it at 180.
yeah. So if we apply this 105% just now, we
Then
saw.
you 90K, bro.
Bro.
So
Damn.
all of us are already. We all Malaysians know the impact of tariffs actually, right? And every year we spend a few 100K, almost 700K cars. We buy
Always
that,
got new car.
right? And imagine a lot of that are Proton and Proton. But imagine if we could spend that same money on a better quality car
Yeah.
and better quality options.
But that
cheaper.
would also mean long term a lot of lost jobs for Proton and Produa, you see?
Yeah.
So you're right. So this is what
That's what Trump's trying to do.
country like Malaysia do and say we have to have a policy to protect. So the US for 80 years have said we know, but it's okay. We have money, so we will let you. So now you can starting to see, right?
Oh,
So immediately all of us can see the impact of this.
He's just doing what we are doing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's just protectionism lah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So anyways, there's a lot more to this. So anyways, therefore we have a trade deficit, right, with them and a lot of countries in the world, almost 1 trillion trade deficit, and this means that a lot of manufacturing jobs was lost.
To China, to countries like us.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now there's more to say about this, but so now you come to Trump, and what is he doing with these tariffs? Now it might be the case that he wants to bring back an onshore jobs, but with the team that he assembled, I think they all accept that no way the jobs are coming back to the US. These manufacturing jobs, Because even if you bring back manufacturing, it doesn't mean that you bring back manufacturing jobs. For example, if you start assembling certain things in the US, most of the time, these people are going to hire robots rather than people.
Shit.
That's
Right,
where
you're gonna look
Elon
at
comes into play.
China,
E7000.
they're going to look at China, they're going to look at all these top manufacturing countries and say, everyone is using robotics. Japan, right? Today, we talk about how China is really
Thriving,
roboticizing their economy. Japan was there a long time already, right? The famous one is the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing toilets.
So everything is robotic, So even if it goes back to China, to the US, they will
be robotic.
doing
Yeah.
robots. So unfortunately, a lot of his voter base will be disappointed. However, what I believe he is trying to do is actually funny enough, Trump is actually a free trader. He actually wants free trade. The question is, how do you get countries to trade freely with you?
Yeah.
Right? It's not just us imposing. China does it. Everyone does it to the US, but the US has not made any noise for 80 years, and now they're making a noise.
Yeah.
So what he is hoping is that if I impose this tariff, it will shock people, because our average tariff that we have on the US is, I think, close to 10%, maybe slightly less. But suddenly he whacked us 24%. Then you're like, hey, how is that fair, right? Like, I thought it's supposed to match and all that. But his calculation is, no, it's based on the trade deficit that we have at half. So the 40% that it shows that we have on them there's a whole formula. It has to do with the trade deficit.
So he takes that and then divides by half and then he taxes that.
Yes.
That's his formula for every
That's the
country.
formula. Yes. That's why China is the highest at 54%.
Just bahagi
sorry,
tu
sorry.
lah.
That's why China is the highest at
Oh. China is how much?
Highest.
54%.
Is it highest
Bro,
because they
what's
use less? That's why it's so high.
No, because the trade deficit is
Oh, the
very big.
deficit.
Yeah.
Oh, because they don't have a lot of trade. So
Trade deficit means I buy more stuff from you than you buy from me. That's
Yeah, basically,
I see, okay.
if you go back to his earlier reference, right, it's like how a lot of us, we buy Microsoft and we
From
buy
US.
Netflix.
Yeah.
But the thing is, China don't do that. They are like, bro, for what? I don't know lah.
Microsoft.
Baoti. What's the shit they use?
What, Douyin.
QQ.
Yeah, QQ.
Oh.
WeChat.
Xiaohongshu.
Xiaohongshu.
Whatever
So
lah, yeah.
they don't need Facebook. They don't need subscription services because they use their own. So the deficit is so big
Yeah.
that they're like 54% lah.
So the more you actually have relations
With
in terms
America.
of trade with America,
The
the
less-
lesser you have in terms of deficit. lah.
Yes.
yeah.
So that's why.
Deficit, like,
Yeah.
tariffs. Yeah.
So that's why I think so far Argentina and Vietnam has already called and say let's renegotiate and bring the tariffs down
Lower.
to zero.
Yeah.
Now,
Sorry.
why? So Trump, his calculation is, you see, he's not just doing this to adversaries; he's doing it to allies also.
Yeah.
So
He do to all lah,
also,
right, I think.
Israel is the funniest one. Israel already knew the announcement was coming, and 2 days before they announced we will have zero tariffs with the United States, and Trump still hit them with 17%.
No, but he's good lah in that sense. He's
Fair,
being
is it?
fair to all lah, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now you might think, why can't the world just gang up on the US?
Yes.
Hey, no way, bro.
Okay, so let me show you a graph why they cannot, right?
Why they
can you go
cannot,
to the black,
Why
one,
you
black
cannot?
with all the numbers?
Why they cannot?
Then what are we going to do, bro? We can't play game.
Bro, they own
sorry.
us,
Before
bro.
we go, these are the products that Malaysia will likely be affected. Those in
Electric.
blue are exempted. Everything else will be
Nuclear reactors.
What?
Apparel. Wait. So could you just repeat that? So these are some of the industries that will be affected by the tariffs.
Yes.
from Malaysian exports
From
yeah,
Malaysia.
Malaysian exports,
to
Oh
the
my
US.
god.
Why the fuck do we have nuclear reactors?
Exactly.
I know. No.
What's that?
Petronas, I guess.
I can't confirm this.
This
I
some
suspect
Lina
it's a
shit,
raw
is it?
material. Rare earth mineral product.
Oh,
shit.
I think so.
Furniture is
That's it lah, Nick. Our graphic card
or
is
maybe-
Medical
it's not, maybe it's something
instruments, yeah lah. I mean, that
Have to
one
buy
is
right
quite
now.
high lah. I believe that one is quite high.
games and sports. What the fuck are we supplying them with?
Don't know.
You'll do it.
Don't know. Bro.
Bro, what? Apparel and clothing, I get it. A lot of Nike stuff made in Malaysia now, bro.
Yeah.
Wood.
But paper and paperboard, they don't need it from us lah.
Balak
bro.
what? Kayu
They
balak?
don't need.
right? No, man?
To be fair, America's huge lah. So I
Yeah,
don't
they're
know lah.
huge, bro. They
They were
full of
source.
resources.
So anyway, I'll show you why you cannot. So can you go to the black with the black background one?
Phantom Menace.
No. Not this one. The another one. I think you should download all the what I sent.
This is the best black. So wait. So basically, is it better for me to buy a phone now?
My
You
answer
want to
is
be
yes.
safe? You want to be safe? Yes.
Bro, I already checked. 6 to 7, bro, out of 10.
what's the current-
ChatGPT
what's the-
already told me,
What's
bro.
the latest
I
what's the
trust.
latest phone now? 16.
16 Pro. No, this is my logic before Nick pulls up the image, okay? I just want to logic this, okay? So, since 13 Pro, right, have there been very big advancements in iPhone?
Anjao.
No, right?
Yeah.
It's quite the same, right? Same
Correct.
3 cameras, same notch, whatever, fuck all, right?
Yeah.
My theory is
17 is going to be the
if
same.
17 Pro comes out, the most they're going to do is make it look different.
Yeah.
Like how 16 Pro got action button. I'm like, bro, what's the difference? Action button, no
what's
action
that?
button.
What's
I just want to say you better save up for 21 Pro lah.
Okay. So right, my logic is if I buy now 16 Pro, it's the best iteration of the 13, 14, 15, 16. Sorry, 14, 15, 16, because it's the dynamic island.
Yeah.
By the time 17 Pro come out, it's going to be the first iteration of that 17 generation, which means sure got problem one. Like when X came out, the iPhone 10 got problem.
Yeah, the first X has to be.
Yeah. Then the first that 10 had a problem, right? Up to 13 Pro perfection. So I bought 13 Pro. After that, 14 came out, dynamic got a lot of problem.
Wait, real question. Is this 16 Pro still titanium or?
Yeah.
Titanium.
Yeah.
Titanium not the best, right? Because
Bro,
the phone
it's so
overheat.
light, bro.
But the phone heats up faster.
Bro, it's so
though.
light. It's so light.
Bro, it's beautiful, bro.
Rondi,
Titanium.
I thought the titanium will heat up faster.
Rondi?
Blondie. He calls me Blondie.
Sorry.
Bro, hold my phone, bro. It's so light.
Come.
Bro, so light. Hold your phone. What?
Okay lah, there are
But
differences.
you know what you're really paying for Apple? You're paying for the ecosystem.
Yeah.
That's what you're paying for.
Sick
You're actually
wallpaper,
not paying.
thanks.
Like a lot of Huawei phones
Are just
Samsung
as
have
good,
already,
yeah.
or better actually.
Yeah.
In terms of specs.
Yeah. But for me, I have I Mac ecosystem. I'm also Apple slut lah. So fuck
Once
it
you're
lah.
in Mac, you never go back.
Yeah.
Can't go back, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so why you can't gang up the US? Say, you know what? Don't care. We don't need. It's because of this. So this
Okay.
is ranking country by annual consumption. Every year, the US consumes $19 trillion worth of goods.
You got to speak to the mic, but I heard 19 trillion
19
worth of
trillion
goods.
worth of goods. Right?
USD worth of goods.
USD. So if you add up from China all the way until Brazil is still lower or about equal to the US.
So question, when they say consumption, do you mean like food? Do you mean like services? Do you mean everything? Lah? So,
Private consumption.
so consumers,
you buy the
total
iPhone,
spending.
consumption.
I see. So total is close to 19 trillion US
Next
dollars.
year will be 20. Already. Yeah.
Goddamn. So China also is not even half of that.
No.
The whole of China.
No.
Bro, what the fuck Americans
No,
doing, bro? They're
because-
going Walmart daily, is it?
because
The shit.
no, they just buy. They just can buy lah. That's it. They have access to a lot of credit, which is
Yeah,
credit
credit
cards,
limit
whatever.
cow.
Plus they also have a social security system, so they don't have to save that much.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have 401k, Roth IRA, all that, and then they grow in the stock market, so they can spend a lot. And
Wow.
of course, Americans are not like Asians where they have
Conservative, yeah.
To them, if they see value, they just
Yeah.
just
That's
whack,
true.
right?
Yeah, okay.
So how are you going to?
Match this lah.
That's why there are people online, right? Literally on X, on Reddit, say, hey, time to boycott the US. On X and Reddit,
Yeah.
time to boycott the US.
Oh, damn stupid lah, bro. And you know, we actually have a lot of pocket of like free trade agreements, right? Like all these like, okay, like ASEAN is like one, right? So we can actually memang like, hey, tell ourselves, bro, we are a gang lah. Just stick
Okay.
together and all this kind of shit. But we still need all these kind of services from US to help implement a lot of our infrastructure, implement a lot of our products and whatever.
Yeah.
I can just share you. Look, sometimes it's just really down to numbers. So the ASEAN economy, yes, there's 600 million people, but it's not how many people that
It's the
always
buying
matter,
power.
it's how much you can buy. For example, the average Chinese household earns 8 to I think 10% income of the US household.
Whoa, wait.
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
A Chinese, like
China
Chinese earns 8 to 10%
The household.
of an American household.
Exactly.
Wait, what?
Bro, that's almost 1/10 of an American household.
Correct.
Bro, what the heck? How the fellow Chinese survive?
They
What
can lah,
buy?
right?
They can
they
lah.
just survive.
Just eat
lah.
noodles.
Jajang
bro.
man
Fake
only.
noodles
Bro.
lah.
You can go. I mean, I may get my numbers may not be updated, but I can always Google now. China household.
Bro, that's less than 1/10 of an American household.
But what's the average for American?
Yeah. So
It doesn't matter. It's 1/10, bro. It's crazy.
China household income they say 6,004. Okay.
Wait, what? So low? 6,000 USD.
a year.
Okay.
That's a lot, bro.
6,000.
Yeah, a year.
A year?
Wait, what?
No, but their food there is fucking
So
cheap.
yeah.
I mean,
So you see,
they are farmers and what?
so in the US is over 80,000.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, 6K USD to 80,000 USD.
Six divided is 7 to 8%, right?
yes.
Right? Yeah. Anyway,
Bro,
I don't
China's so
know.
poor, man. What the hell?
No,
I mean, they
so
have
when you see
heavy
the
population
okay,
also,
so
yeah.
this one is a bit of econs also. Okay, so an economy is made out of 4 components: CIGNX, so consumption, investment, government spending, and exports.
Okay.
Okay, so a country like the US, the consumer is very big, 70% of the American economy. So like of this, so this 19 trillion is 70% of the economy.
Okay.
So the total economy is about 28 trillion.
Okay.
But for China is
It's investment heavier lah.
investment heavier. So
I
that's
see,
why
I
you
see, I
see
see.
all the infrastructure, all the
gao.
the
I
roads,
see,
all very
I
good. That's
see.
why US infrastructure is crap.
Oh, that's why their subway also dog shit lah. Okay. Makes sense.
And
it's because culturally also they're like that. It's a capitalist society versus a socialist.
so and
slash
also
whatever.
for a more command economy, we call it, if you want to grow GDP, it's always easier to build stuff. Because it's in your control, ma.
Yes.
Then you build stuff, then you now with China they can export worldwide, right? So that's why like I don't know if you all know the recent news I posted also. Now the BYD is cheaper than the Proton EMAS.
Wait, what?
You guys see the link? Yeah.
BYD cheaper?
Seal. Is it seal?
Bro, don't give a fuck lah. What seal, what cock lah, bro. Buy
it's a
only.
nice
No, it has
auto
to be
seal.
the same category.
Same-
or-
same.
category.
You know the emo, yeah.
Bro,
Oh, okay.
BYD
No
or
way, it's cherry.
Or the
What?
Atto.
Oh,
yeah.
Atto 3, is it?
So
it's but EV, you know, bro.
EMAS is 118K what? That is
It's almost the same.
It's
the keys is almost the
No,
same.
if you factor in the rebate to the first 1,100, it brings it up to the same territory. It's a competition lah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
But even that's with our protection of our
no,
local.
but I think EVs might not get protection. I need to clarify. I'm not auto
Oh,
expert. They
oh,
may
oh.
not get this.
Auto.
Oh, because of the battery, is it? The battery is the
No, because the Malaysian government want to promote the
EV.
green tech. You know,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Can't
So,
lame.
so anyway, so the China is an investment-led economy. So that's why you see infrastructure very good, all this. And of course, they are talented engineers. So when they spend, it's good.
Yeah.
Right? When Malaysia spends, not bad, but not China,
great.
right?
Not bad.
So in the US, they are consumption driven. So they buy a lot of stuff.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
So that's why China, 7 trillion is only 40% of the economy. China's economy is about 17 trillion.
the whole economy is 17. That doesn't even match the consumption of America. Oh no, what are you buying, bro?
What are you buying, bro?
The fuck, man? They buy so much.
You know,
man.
Americans are they?
Just buy stuff,
They
man.
just buy
Buy
stuff.
stuff.
bro.
Maga, bro. Maga.
Yeah.
Amazon, bro. It's easy.
So yeah, so the average household is more than 10 times more. So it's that's what I mean. That's why the US is able to be what we call the consumer of last resort. If you build a lot of stuff and you don't know who or where to sell,
Go you.
we are here.
yeah.
America.
And so when all these people sell and export, China, Japan, Germany, and all that,
Who
they
sell?
create a trade deficit. Then they cause the manufacturing jobs to lose. Then unemployment happen.
Then cannot
People
buy.
complain. A Trump figure comes along, and now he's gonna slap a tariff to prevent.
Yeah.
all
But
that.
to be fair, I feel also right in the American perspective, when you look at Americans, they always are very like deal hunter one, you know.
Yeah.
So if it's sales and Black Friday, it's very, very like you
Yeah,
see Black
yeah.
Friday, Cyber Tech Mondays, all this stuff like shopping Christmas,
Yeah,
birthdays and
yeah.
all that, right? When you factor into it, it's really like a spending culture, ma.
It is.
And when I was there, I remember a lot of them, it's like, oh, I bought something off Amazon. Can you get the package? It's like the package delivery thing was the thing there at that time, and Prime started. And like they buy stupid shit, and like, oh, I bought one cable.
Yeah.
But today it's quite normal.
It's
like
not-
Shopee, we like one
Yeah,
cable.
yeah,
I bought
yeah.
one cable from Shopee. That time, this is like 2012, 13. This is more than 10 years ago. They already doing this.
Yeah.
So if they kept buying and they're deal hunter, technically, your local jobs all die, you know. Because if you buy the cheapest shit, it's usually not from America, one. Right? You buy a cable, like
Yeah, yeah, it's all
it's gonna be
from,
made
like,
in China,
China.
made in Japan. Even when you go there, oh dude, I saw these Sony headphones that were really good. Like what are American headphones? Marshall? I don't know.
Yeah.
And
But
made in China
it's
too.
the Asian culture thing also, right? We don't have that culture of like being spendthrift on like, or being high consumers in like this kind of tiny ass product that is,
Unless you're American Asian.
Yeah. So to your point, it's a very interesting discussion. So you can attribute part of the savings culture to culture.
Yeah.
Part of the higher savings rate. So for example, Chinese household savings rate is about 25%, whereas Americans only 5%.
Bro, that's damn little, bro.
Yeah. But the difference is in the US you have a social security system. AKA you don't need to save that much.
You got welfare lah.
Secondly, 5% on an income that's 10 times bigger
It's a lot.
is better than a 20.
Yeah,
25%
100% of course.
And not only that, when you save that amount, the amount of options you can invest in is
crazy.
much more. So it's a different way the economy is structured. So partly also, like when Asians go there, we get rich pretty fast.
Yeah, it's true.
Because
We don't spend that much and we
Yeah, you make
Americans
do,
are,
more lah.
America easier to convince to buy. Much easier. So the good part about that, the bad part is obviously we know lah, right? But the good part is money flows into the best hands. Because everybody's convincing each other to give each other money, right? Capitalism. So the best fellow who can convince and then take that money and make a return would be filthy rich. And that's why you see in America tons of filthy rich people.
Yeah.
Weirdest ways they make money also. Right?
Yeah,
But
bro,
in-
like Ashton Hall, bro.
Oh, what? But I think in exchange for that, there have been an increase in like jobless people as well. Because over time, when you keep purchasing cheaper shit from out of your own country,
Yeah.
less people work, because why would I make American stuff? Like if you bought, New Balance,
Yeah.
if you look, there are two types of New Balance shoes. One, there is made in wherever else around the world, like Vietnam, Cambodia, whatever, and there's made in USA. Have you seen how much they made in USA New Balance shoes? It's like, bro, it's like 1.2 and above, bro, for a pair of shoes,
Yeah.
What's that?
Ringgit.
Sorry?
A
1 point-
made in USA
How
New
much is
Balance
it?
is like 1.2 and above. 1.2k ringgit
Ringgit.
for a pair of shoes. So made in USA has like this like wow factor, right?
It's like almost an Onitsuka price. Also.
What's the difference?
Onitsuka is
They
only
like have
600.
Big skin or some shit, right?
Got big scene also. But Onitsuka entry level made in Vietnam, made in Cambodia, all this is only 600 to 700 ringgit. 1.2 is almost double, bro.
How much is made in Japan, Onitsuka?
8 to 9. Can be 1 also. But 1.2 America is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Just because it's made in USA. Like if you buy leather goods, all this like Levi's shit, right? Made in USA, bro, damn expensive one. So because they don't have a lot of people anymore to do stuff already, they just like, Cambodia
I
do
think
lah.
it's twofold. One is that half of them, let's say, is like that. But the other half, which obviously disagrees with a lot of the tariffs, are the people who say, look, we should not, as an economy, compete on price. We should compete on quality. So
Yeah.
any economy got three steps on: agriculture, manufacturing, services, right? Farm, factory, office. So what happens is that the US blitz past all the way until services. That's why their services are top.
Yeah.
If you want to get
Hotels.
anything finance related, right, they are literally gods in this arena. Anything, a lot of tech, software stuff, they are also almost like gods, right?
Or maybe it's because they're an old country too lah. Their agriculture was a long time too. You
Yeah.
know?
So but they always moved up. So every time they moved up, they will always be, so like the 1930s tariff, the tariff was for, part of it was for agriculture.
It's chickens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, right? Part of it lah. It is a mix, right? So then they went to manufacturing, and then because of globalization, there was no tariffs. So now they are dominating services. And I tell you, if China takes down the firewall, right, Facebook, all of it, they will go in and dominate as well.
Yeah, probably.
Because like Walmart and Costco are doing very well in China.
yeah.
Because that's one thing China cannot do, because Costco has a global market. So when they buy, let's say,
price is
supplies,
so
like
good.
they'll go to a French vineyard.
Yeah.
Because they
Take
want
all the wine, make
No, they say 20 years of your wine.
Yeah,
but
bro.
half the price.
Yeah, bro.
Then the
Of course
farmer
you
was
will
like, take half the
Bro,
price of 20 years,
20
right?
years.
But you can't do that if you were...
It's Kirkland, right? I think Kirkland products.
Forgot already. But Costco can do that.
Yeah.
So when they do that, and then they charge super low prices also to the world because they get it for half price.
Yeah, bro.
Provided you buy in bulk lah. So that's how they earn lah.
No, provided, yeah, also you have the membership. You need the Costco
You need a membership and you need to have
Yeah,
buy in
very
bulk.
smart business model. So anyways, actually, part of the reason is that if it was really a fair trade, right, let's be honest, right, the US is going to pretty much dominate almost everything.
Yeah.
But they were giving
Except
handouts for too long in a way. So now they're just trying to be like, hey.
Yeah, so do you all realize, right, that if you all read things from 100 years ago, when you hear about your great-grandparents, do you all feel like it's just so far away? Like what they went through, right, is so unimaginable.
Bro,
I mean, they went through World War II, you know.
Right? Yeah, you think about war. Towards war is a concept, right?
yeah. But I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, right? So I was researching a bit on these tariff things because I found it quite interesting, and also maybe because I've been speaking about it with Jen also, the algorithm keeps recommending me shit lah. This tariff thing actually started the World War, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Second World War.
Yeah, so 1929, to your point, there was a stock market crash in the Dow Jones. So then everything got bad. Then the US implement Smoot-Hawley tariff to protect their industry. But
Which economists were saying like you shouldn't do that, but he still...
So because of that, there was a 66% drop in global trade.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So all this, blah, 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 and then the tariffs was removed in 1933. What happened in 1933? Adolf Hitler got elected into German. At that point in time, Japan was already militarizing already. So then in the 30s, why Hitler got elected? Actually, I can't remember if it's 1933. Actually, if you can pull this out, when did Hitler get elected?
My world history is really bad, right? This is already en route to World War II, right?
The US sets the condition for these things to happen because it affects the whole economy. So then, when 1933, right?
Yeah, Chancellor.
Yeah, Chancellor, 1933. There you go.
But is it the catalyst? It's not the
It contributes
part of it.
Because during that time also, I mean, it's always a combination of factors. One.
Yeah.
It just so happened they all what we call a Lula-Palooza effect. That means two separate events, right, suddenly converge into one point. So another event in Germany that was happening was the Weimar Republic. They experienced massive inflation. So that's how Hitler got elected. He said it's because of Jews. Right? Jews were the one doing all this. So all this led up bad economic conditions. Then you get strong leaders blaming outsiders. Then that's where the opportunity for war.
But I feel like that narrative is coming back, bro. A lot of people be blaming on Jews also, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I don't want,
bro. Like, you
what
see
the
it
fuck?
everywhere, bro. Like Kanye West is the #1 guy that's bringing it up. You know, like these Jews are they're everywhere. They're on top of the world. You know, they're
Gone, man.
Yeah,
Bro, no, you know, right? The recent Microsoft announcement. Did y'all watch that shit?
No.
What is it? I don't know.
The Microsoft announcement, halfway, right? There's a fucking protester that come and say, you guys are funding a war. You guys are killing people. And then the Microsoft guy, right, just went like,
Satya Nadella, is it Indian fella?
no, it's not an Indian fella. It was just a guy.
Just one of the board of directors.
One of the guy promoting AI lah.
Okay,
And he was like, I hear your protest. Thank you. And the guy was like, you are killing millions of people. I hear your protest. Thank you. He said it like 3 times. And then she was a Microsoft employee, if I'm not mistaken. She was just like protesting mid-presentation, bro.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, bro, this never happens, man. And the guy, the way he responded is so robotic. Then I was like, I feel like a bad feeling. Right after that, I watched the Singapore Prime Minister make the announcement. I'm like, they better buy an iPhone, fuck it lah.
Bro, how many times you reverted back to this, bro?
There's so many things, bro. I'm like,
But it's very real. So it's very real because going back to what I said, you feel right like what our great grandparents experienced all these wars is so foreign. Like you wouldn't like it's like you feel it won't happen.
Yeah,
because it's so long ago.
repeating. Yeah,
But we have to realize that the reason we have this, we assume that peace is the natural state of things,
take it
is
for
because of what the US has done for the past 80 years. But they want to roll that back now because at least people who voted for Trump are saying we've got a bad deal. Now, the good one, okay, the best case scenario is actually for the US, all the other countries except maybe China come and lower the tariffs. That one will solve a lot of things really. We make Trump look good. The global economy largely got unaffected. Musk said yesterday that he hopes there's a free trade zone between EU and the US.
Yep.
If that happens,
It's a
That's the best case scenario.
It's
already.
the big thing.
In fact, it's very good for the United States because they will strengthen economic ties with everyone, and then when they want to confront China in the future, it's a lot easier.
So they take a united stance in a way, no pun intended, with the EU.
Yes.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario is everybody start tariffing each other.
Oh shit! That is the
retaliation
freaking.
lah,
It's a
yeah.
Mexican standoff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, okay,
It's a world trade war lah.
Let me give you an example, right? So now
Oh, that's it, lah, bro.
the US don't want to buy from China, but China have to build stuff, otherwise GDP goes down.
Yep.
But if they don't build stuff, GDP goes down. So they have to reroute somewhere, right? How many economies in the world are big enough to replace the US? The only
India,
closest
right?
one, no, India is like 4 Indonesias. That's about it. That's it, right?
No, the spending power is not big, ma.
It's not. It's a lot of people, but
Yeah.
That's it. Just a lot of
Even
people.
China big, but not spending
yes.
power.
So China has to sell to Europe, but then Europe will say, "Hey, we cannot be
Buying your
getting all
shit
these
all the time.
BYDs for
Yeah.
like 40,000 euros or whatever
Yeah.
it is, right?
They are
And
Europe.
more BYDs than their population, bro.
You're not going to dump all this on us, right? Exactly. So they are also going to put some sort of trade, maybe a tariff, could be something else on China. And China said, "Why you do this to me? Then I put on you." Then the Japanese will say the same. Why are we supporting BYD? How about Toyota? Germany will say, so it'll be this.
but
Just go Terminator lah. This point. You know.
But so in a way, you know that announcement by the PM in Singapore yesterday is asking everybody to gang up. In a way, he's
Like
asking everybody to
smaller
gang up
nations
against US, right? Or like, take a stand lah.
yeah.
Take a stand in like not
Collective bargaining.
being retaliative to each other lah. Like, bro, come on lah.
Yep.
Let's be a gang. Don't leave me out of this lah. I'm a small fucking country. I need them trades lah. I need the rice, bro.
Hey, we need SGD at 3. SGD needs to be at 3.
Wait.
But
Sorry. I want to ask what the Prime Minister say. He said he's trying to say basically, please don't impose the tariff on us.
No. He's saying he made an announcement and he was like, "We're going through very difficult times." I will tell you straight up now.
Yeah.
I am saying this so that everybody here in Singapore is mentally prepared for what's going to come.
Yes.
Because Singapore has nothing. They are just an in and out type of country. You give me, I give you service. That type of thing,
I
ma.
take a cut. That's it.
So now, right? If there's nobody going to be trading, or if they trade with a very high percentage with Singapore,
Then Singapore
because
die
everybody's
lah.
just doing this, right?
yeah.
Bro, they GG.com.
Yeah.
Their
Singapore will
SGD.
be island.
There's SGD. Yeah.
The 15 Malaysian states.
please have
Bro, all of us Malaysians laughing like the Tom Cruise meme, bro. Because this whole time they SGD 3.0, but we all Tom Cruise meme now.
No. But honestly, as Malaysians, we have to be. So I was thinking about this coming here. We have a big risk with East Malaysia. Because you see,
Sarawak, GG.
No, because you see, if another country tries to take land from us and all that, we just go to the UN and complain.
Yeah.
They will reprimand and they may even send forces. The US will denounce and things like that. So we've had a police lah, basically. There's a balai we can go
to
and
report.
complain to, right, in New York, basically.
Yeah.
But now New York say, sorry, I can't be asked with a lot of this today. So what's stopping from, say, Philippines claiming Sabah? Because up to today, they still say
Still got
Sabah
dispute.
belongs to Philippines. Indonesia claims, I think, both Sabah and Sarawak. What's stopping them now? They said, well, the policeman is not here anymore.
Yeah.
Why not? Right? So I actually forecast that Malaysia and Singapore will be a lot closer. Because in this like rocky world, right, we are like,
We
hey,
need to
I
stay
think we better hold hands.
But okay. My question is, right, do you think this is it's definitely a big gamble, but if this gamble works out, it's gonna be the greatest reset, right? We will call it the great reset from
Well, it depends on what you mean by workout. Like, what do you
as
have in
in,
mind?
because you said that Trump is doing this to create a world free trade zone, right? Like everybody will eventually live
That's what he wants,
harmoniously, and then be trading without any form of tax
and blah, blah,
imposition
blah.
against
Barriers,
each other. So this thing, if is successful, he will also make US great again, but he will make economy thrive
100%.
within the world, right? So it's a
100%.
great reset if this works out,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, correct. Because at the current state, the US cannot continue with the trade deficits and the debt build up and all that.
But why would he take this risk knowing there's a lot of fucking primal Like minds
Yeah.
with prime,
Especially-
like,
I don't know.
we're very primal kind of thinking ministers or like like
especially
people out there.
in this current state of history,
Exactly,
right? Where like Russia, Ukraine, where like Israel, Palestine, all these stuff, uncertainties, and then he like, let's go lah, guys.
Yeah, bro. Exactly. Like you cannot. You see the proxy wars. They still cannot like
Yeah.
fix it on its own. You're trying to throw this out there, like
Yeah.
hoping everything will work out, bro.
He's gambling
Live with fear, bro.
Bro,
Yeah.
this is crazy, bro. But
Yeah.
it's a great respect if it can work.
But a lot
We
of
never see it coming.
Yeah, but a lot of countries also have responded like via announcements. Like I don't know, I saw this. I'm not sure who it was, but it was a Chinese minister who was saying we will not be bullied into whatever.
Yeah, no. China already retaliated with
With the
34%. They matched the US. with
So I don't know whether the gamble is a smart gamble, because right in this time normally animosity breeds animosity one lah. So if let's say it's a very trying time now for majority of the world, right, and then you somehow go and throw a wrench into the fucking system, right? I don't know whether it's
So yeah, so to your point, right, that's correct. So that's why the best case scenario is I don't think you can fix the China one. I don't think you're gonna stop them from putting tariff because a US president getting embarrassed, right? What happens to the US if a US president gets embarrassed? Everyone will say, yeah, Trump deserve it, blah, blah, blah. But if a Chinese president gets embarrassed, it is turmoil. It literally, there will be a succession crisis and China will be in deep trouble.
GG, bro.
Because it's a country that cannot lose face. America they embarrass themselves all the time.
they're so used to it, bro.
All the time they embarrass
Bro,
themselves.
Biden is a big face,
Yeah.
that one.
So, how will this affect LC signs? Huh?
LC signs?
Yeah.
It'll be more expensive.
He's not asking the right question, bro.
I have to protect Tony, bro. Gotta protect Tony, man.
Tony, he's selling not to America anymore, bro. He's selling to other.
But I got hope because for those two, yes, because Speed showed the world that China is advancing well, but then Speed also showed Chinese people that Americans are pretty much fun-loving people.
Are you showing? Are you really referencing high speed?
I think it's a microcosm for a bigger thing.
If you see on X, right, a lot of like world economists are like thanking Aisho Speed for what he's doing, bro. Like he's trying to create peace within the two cultures, which are really, indoctrinating each other to hate each other.
But this guy shows
This guy is like cutting all that.
rush hour.
It's Rush Hour 5, bro. He is Rush Hour 5. He is
funny
Chris Tucker, bro.
Yeah, bro.
He met Tony. He met another
Jackie Chan.
big dude.
You didn't know
Trump.
some random Gen Z on
Yeah.
fucking stream would have done this, right? But he's doing it, bro.
So I stand corrected. The best case scenario, right, is everyone pulls down everything. China takes down the firewall. They move towards a process of democratization. Look, everything will solve if China just say, I think we should try to become a democracy. Yeah. Straight away, the US will say, oh, nice. Then because they do that to Taiwan. They do that. Taiwan has a trade deficit with the US also, right?
Yeah.
But they love Taiwan. They're not skeptical of Taiwan, things like that.
Allies, what, right?
Yeah.
Not really, lah. but I mean,
Basically,
like,
if China people just open some face, everything will be fine.
No, if China become
Is-
a democracy and be like,
Or I would
okay,
say-
no
no,
more
they
WeChat
just
lah.
have
We
to
just use
close-
WhatsApp.
No WeChat. It's open up. Allow
Use
Chinese people to download WhatsApp, to download Facebook, download. That's the
Can play games after 10
Today they
p.m.
can
Play
use.
Pokemon
Can
Go.
talk about Tiananmen Square.
yeah. That firewall is basically, right, an ego, lah. An ego. You just have to take
Like
away
number
the
one.
ego.
That is also
and,
causing the trade deficit also.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wait. So you're saying it's possible. You're telling me
I think it's possible because I did a measurement, right? South Korea and Taiwan are two Confucian societies. So they are like us. Sorry, not you, but us. You half now. Your kids will be half.
My kid.
kids
Yeah.
half. So these fellas were all authoritarian also, right? But it took 30 to 40 years and then they grew to roughly 15 to 20,000 in today's dollars income per annum. GDP, sorry. Then they started to have demonstrations and then democratize. And then so South Korea is South Korea today, Taiwan is Taiwan today, right? China is not that level of wealth yet. Yes, the infrastructure is nice. Yes, the tech is improving. But the level of wealth is not there yet. So to your point, I totally think it's possible that there will be some form of liberal. I don't think it will be like a mad liberalization. I think it will be something like maybe Shenzhen, Shanghai will start first, and then slowly will.
I see.
That should be the way. It shouldn't be straight away like that, because that's what Russia did. And when Russia did that, it was a mess. So they need to slowly, province by province, like Shanghai, Shenzhen, these are metropolitan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them, 200,000 Chinese students studied America and abroad and all that. So these are more metropolitan. These are, people like I'll see signs from Tony lah.
Yeah.
So they slowly open up. Then, if it will make the world a better place.
It's a big if.
Yeah.
The Chinese people no ego.
Yeah.
Bro, but impossible. They rather die than
Meanwhile,
lose
Xi
face.
Jinping watching this podcast like you think I don't have fuck it, open now.
He looking like Winnie the Pooh with his red shirt. Oh, bro.
MJ, I have a real question. So, to Malaysians who don't know about what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And like say they are just average income earners who earn 5K, and whatever is happening right now takes place, how will it affect their daily or yearly income?
Your Kai Fan become 25 ringgit.
You have to expect yourself you have to expect higher costs, but I don't know in what way.
Holy
For sure.
tune.
Yeah.
Just it's not something the Malaysian government can control at all. I would say if you have money, you can park some in Singapore also, just to save yourself. If you are really paranoid type, start
Buy gold
farming, buy some gold, start farming. That's what I would prepare.
5K, you cannot buy Honda.
And prepare for war lah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry.
Wait, what?
That's what I believe.
Yeah, bro. I mean, that's the trajectory that everybody is trying to tell, right? Like, even that Singapore the minister came out and said like, do you guys know that, back
this
in
was the
1980s,
lead up to.
this the
I mean,
lead up
to
to like
give you a
World
sense
War
why
II
he's
and
so fearful, right? So China's, I think, exports is about 20% of the economy. The US is about 11%. Malaysia is higher, 20 something percent, maybe 30%.
Nice.
I think Singapore is like 400%. Something like that. Something like that.
Bro, what
me-
they
let me go
exporting, bro? They're exporting their souls. Or...
bro, they have everything. They don't have anything.
They got
but they
nothing,
have
bro.
everything. That's the thing. What
Sorry,
I'm trying
that's
to say.
174%.
You can find Korean food and all that shit.
Exports is 174%, but total trade, I think, is almost 400%.
Bro,
For sure, bro. They are they are so heavily reliant on trade.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything they have, right? Like the rice is coming from Malaysia, whatever it is, the
Water.
chicken is coming from Malaysia.
324%. Yeah, sorry, 300 over percent.
Yeah.
Bro, that is GGWP, right?
You know what is
But
Singapore?
there's 400% from
Changi
US
Jewel?
or it's just
No,
from
no, total, the whole world.
The world, right?
The whole
Yeah.
world, yeah.
But if relations with them and US is bad, they can just cut off ties, but they can still
No way.
maintain a well-driven, localized.
You're saying Singapore?
Trade-free zone.
They will
which
have to expect
ASEAN lah.
a big drop in the lifestyle. Big drop in the lifestyle. So
You walk on.
US accounts for 1/3 of. So if you use this simple math, right? US accounts for about 1/3 of global consumption. So let's say you don't trade at all, you would think that your lifestyle only drops 1/3. It's not true, because the other 2/3 also relies on this 1/3 consumption.
Oh,
Right? How do you
shit.
consume? Because you have job, ma. How do you get job? Because of
The bank is
that
there.
factory
The
or
lot is there.
whatever,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this effect will be more than 30%. I don't know how much that is.
It's a ripple.
So it's a
lah, yeah.
big drop in standards of living.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
How are you
shit.
going to pay for your HDB and all that?
All the SG influencer no more dancing already.
No, bro. They TikTok. They planting, bro.
Yeah.
They doing the water one, the what? The aqua agriculture, bro.
Will this affect Malaysians who's working at Singapore?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, welcome
Bro,
back.
you know what?
Welcome back.
Ducky will be seeing you soon, bro.
Ducky.
100%. We are going to have a more internal. It also depends on. There's a lot of factors. It also depends on how ASEAN will be, right? I believe Malaysia and Singapore, we will agree with on 99% on things like, yeah, we should continue free trade. But will Thailand think the same? Will Indonesia think the same? Indonesia might feel, oh, now without the US, we are the biggest economy in ASEAN
exactly.
now. Why should I do that? And why in China? Why should I free trade? I have everything that I need.
self-sustain.
Why, you know?
Yeah.
And why China goes back to the old school tributary system. Now you are a tributary state to us. We are big country, small country.
Yeah,
You know?
they're like acting as US against us
Us
like that.
Asian.
lah.
And it's more
Asian.
because you know there's a
big
famous saying,
players.
right? There's a famous saying by Ho Chi Minh. He's an actual person, right, in Vietnam. He said, "I rather sniff French shit than to eat Chinese shit." He actually said that before.
What he said?
Sorry, could you just repeat that?
Repeat
again?
I rather sniff French shit than eat Chinese shit. So what he's trying to say is, look, the French are going to be here. They're going to come and go because of colonialism, you know, and eventually the French went. But the Chinese are always there.
Yeah.
They're right there.
They're just above us. Yeah.
So that's why, right? The US invaded Vietnam, killed so many people. 30 years later, Obama can go and sit there, eat a bowl of bamboo
Yeah, with Bourdain.
Bourdain.
right?
Yeah.
But you know, right, if you read Chinese textbooks, everything is about how the Chinese have abused us and dominated us over the centuries.
If you read Vietnamese textbooks, you mean?
Vietnamese history textbooks, yeah.
Wow.
Yo,
damn,
chill.
bro. So after all that killing, they still fuck you, China, like that.
Yeah. Because they know that Americans one day they will leave, you know. They will,
Oh, but China will always be
China
there.
will always be there.
Oh shit.
So we
that's
have
why
the
they
same predicament. And we have, okay, so this is more politics for us. Now we have this very interesting condition. So we know there are a lot of Chinese ultras in Malaysia.
Oh.
So when or if the China becomes more dominant in Malaysian life and
Summit
everywhere.
velocity.
You're really saying,
Bro,
a lot of
Kuchai,
universities-
bro.
a lot of universities are having more Chinese students.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's mom's music school used to be white people, now it's Chinese people.
Oh, shit.
MM2H program, 15,000 applicants by
What?
China.
My Malaysia second home.
MM2H, yeah.
Gee.
So what happens is a lot of Chinese Malaysians will be more emboldened here. They will want to have some sort of second big immigration wave to get Chinese people here, and then they'll start to be more bold. Then they'll start to challenge.
More what? Sorry?
Bolder.
bold.
Oh, bold.
They will
okay.
start to challenge the
current.
norms.
Yeah.
So we have that additional
layer of potential fuck up. lah.
yeah, because they'll feel
Bro.
now China is the big brother and we are Chinese, so we're gonna use China's trying to push
Push our
for
way lah,
equality and all
yeah.
that. So how will now Malays, you know, they don't like the US because of the tariffs and because they're un-Islamic and they complain about halal food, whatever. Fine. The question is not how do we deal with the US? The question is, as China grows stronger, how do we
be better?
operate in relation to
Yeah,
them?
yeah.
Ah.
Where will your loyalties lie, right?
Yes.
As Chinese.
Bro,
China or
Malaysia, bro.
Me, Malaysia all day, bro.
Malaysia
Yeah,
all
but-
day, bro. I ain't working 996, brother. Mate, fuck that, okay?
But you very well know that is not necessarily the majority position for Chinese Malaysians in Malaysia.
Bro, I straight. We reverse May 13 to our own Chinese people.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. We like internally, we all the Uchiha clan be like, okay lah, no choice lah.
Sing Kerana Mu Malaysia. Sing now.
Bagai.
I want to ask, I don't know whether this is possible or not. Can Singapore just say, hey man, let's be a country again?
What do you mean?
Like join in back Malaysia?
They can.
They can do
But
that?
And
lose a lot
after
lah.
they lose a lot, bro.
You think what? You think what? SGD cannot be 4.0?
I
Must be
mean,
4.0
they say they
now,
got
bro.
reserve,
Yeah.
but how long the reserve can
Bro,
be?
if they join with
generation.
us, they are reserve nothing already, bro.
Shit.
How are you going to reserve for the rest of us?
But what if we change our name from Malaysia to Singapore?
What's that got
What the fuck?
What's that got to do with anything, bro?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
But why? Why would you do that, bro? You have all the chips. It's like, I give you the chips.
Yeah, bro.
Can you help manage the chips?
If they do that, they do that. We have Petronas Quad Towers, bro.
Silly question, sorry.
Nani the fuck? I hang for a bit, bro. That one.
Then the SG influencer come to Malaysia. Bro.
Yeah, man. We ban all their bakute outlets. Right?
Yeah.
That one is the first step into doing things.
Yeah, man, 100%.
Oh, bro.
How likely do you think it is, right, for things to go north versus south? What is your percentage breakdown?
I would say 60-40 south.
60% south. lah.
Oh my
60-70% south.
Yeah, it's very difficult to remain positive because I think negative news tends to pop up more. So when more negative news comes up, people have this fear
And
of
it doesn't
the worst.
help that with social media, you know, America's general like clumsiness. I think that's one of the best words to describe them. Their clumsiness is exposed to the whole world.
Yeah.
So people are saying, why should we put our trust in such a clumsy, you can say taiko or whatever,
Leader
right?
or whatever.
Leader or the, why not? But people don't realize that it's almost like the US was chosen by God to be the taiko because they don't possess that kind of leadership capabilities. You don't look at them like, whoa, you know, you're in awe of them. They're just clumsy people that say silly things. But it's just that, you know, they are starting their geography plus their economy, everything, right? Is like
It's perfect.
History
Perfect
also
one.
lah.
Yeah.
History also
everything
plays
is
a part.
perfect. You get the smartest and innovative people, put them with the most resources. That's why you get America. So because of that, then they managed to rule the world. And then so happened, maybe because they have some sort of a Christian background, they are so nice. They nuke. Okay, I mean, they nuke Japan still, but
They still help.
but they did not impose and they even give aid and say, hey, you know, please rebuild our country, you know.
So nice, huh? First
yeah.
bomb, then go and help them.
Yeah. Even Germany, right?
Yeah.
So what Malaysia need to, if I'm the Malaysian Prime Minister, I would try my best to lower as much tariffs, as much trade barriers as possible so that we can take away that tariff. It's not about caving or not caving.
Yeah.
The US economy, right, is like 30 over times larger than ours. It's not about caving, it's about being realistic, it's about dropping an ego. That's why all the people online who start saying things like, oh, they want a tariff, then we tariff back or we boycott their goods.
That one
Bro,
is such a
that's dumb
defensive
shit, bro.
stand, lah.
They are our second largest export destination,
Who's our first?
Singapore. Singapore, US, Singapore, US, and then China. I don't
damn.
understand. We just should go there with a small, hey guy, yeah, Trump what you want. That's it.
Yeah.
And
exactly,
then
bro.
just rub his balls, you know, just yeah, you're right. Yeah, we have taken advantage. We don't want to take advantage. Just
But that would mean a lot of our Proton, or might suffer.
no. So that's why you have to argue. You have to be. I don't know what kind of negotiator Trump is, right? And here's another thing for those of you who are following this news a lot, right? Don't rely on what you read and what you see, because what matters is not what you hear. What matters is what goes on in the
Parliament.
no in
the office with
in the
the
closed
negotiations,
doors.
Oh.
That's the most important, because in public everyone can show like they're damn tough. The Canadian Mike Carney guy, no, Carney, the prime minister, or another guy, Mike Carney, right, started saying, oh, we're gonna fight back with the US. I'm like, Canada fighting back with the US?
Canada, not a real country.
Canada's total trade is something like 1 trillion with the US. You want to fight back with the US? Doesn't make sense, right? But then, you know, it's just posturing a lot of it. And behind closed doors, what is
They're
going to be
begging,
said? That's the most important. So if I'm out, I just go try to say, look,
Yeah,
what do you want? How can we help? Just don't be in the way, right? Imagine if you were in Trump's position, he has to whack so many people already. Just stay out of the way and say, you know what, let's reduce to you. If he wants to announce, yeah, we made great progress with Malaysia or whatever, just like he did with Vietnam, then do lah, right? Whatever. Just at the end of the day, it's Malaysians that matter.
Yeah.
And what is in the interest of Malaysians? It is to lower trade barriers for both countries so we can buy things for cheaper.
Hypothetical question. So what if the rest of the world do a free trade but exclude America despite their consumption? Because the rest of the world depends on one another, but we exclude them because now they want to be very inclusive.
They could, but who's going to be the leader for that? That's another question. You want to get rid of the US as a leader. Okay.
But there'll be a power vacuum.
Yeah, who's going to be...
And then power vacuum is probably going to be China, and then China going to make us vote 996.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. So recently,
Or Germany.
Japan increased
Germany.
their... So now Japan's defense spending is growing faster than their GDP.
Oh shit. Why, they so scared,
They just implemented this 12 generation rockets or something like that. They can pretty much hit all major Chinese cities already.
Yo, what?
Wait. A bit personal, yeah.
And they already came up with a plan, right, to evacuate Okinawa. There's this Okinawa evacuation plan. They came out already. They say how many ferries we're going to use. They already published this already. This is what we're going to do.
God damn, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, I think we need to start planning this kind of shit.
I need to buy Proton, I need to buy toilet paper.
So to your point earlier on, right? What's the probability to exclude the US? It could, but who's going to gather up the other 67%? Who?
Yeah.
Not Europe. Europe is trash.
Yeah, it's trash, bro.
And the moment you start forming or gathering this other 67%, it's already World War II already. World War
actually
III
so.
already.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, you're already starting
Don't live in
something
the world
that
war.
No, I want to ask this question, right? Because if, let's say, the premise of them doing these tariffs are to somewhat protect themselves internally in America to quote and unquote create more jobs, whether it's robotics or not, there has to be some form of like ego in some countries and non-ego ma. And my thought is majority of people have ego
Yeah.
because it's just a reflex. Like how China instinctively just went, fuck it, I'm going to fucking tariff them back.
Yeah.
Most countries, I think, have that reaction,
Yep.
you know, until maybe few months down the road and be like, okay, actually we
When
might
they
need them.
experience, yeah.
You know, so that's why I asked that question, because I think as a Malaysian, you would also ask that question, right? How would this affect Malaysia? Number one, the Malaysian podcast, right? If people ask like, oh, how would this affect us? So now the answer is probably, you have an ego lah. The following question, no? If you got ego, then probably you're going to tariff back, but no reason to also. But if no ego, then your solution, which is have a conversation, ask how we can meet
That's
halfway
why
lah.
I think one idea that I have, not that my opinion matters, but we need to have an ex-China Asia
Conference.
like group. So Indo-Pacific lah. So maybe like
It's like a
so
WhatsApp
one very interesting thing is I know this is somewhat a related point. Trump has called on Europe, NATO especially, to get the act together and start spending money. But you realize, right?
Spend where?
Military.
Oh,
But he has not said the same thing for Indo-Pacific. I suspect he's going to reallocate a lot of resources back to
West.
to Indo-Pacific here.
Oh, why?
Yes.
But he's speaking to
Like Hasgaf, the Secretary of Defense, just went to both Manila and Japan
okay
to reaffirm all the
leaders.
Yeah, that we are still going to defend them in the case of any breakout. Of course, he called out China and things like that.
Wow.
So I think a lot of this noise is being created, but something that's happening in beneath is a reallocation of focus and resources into this part, because this is where the real arena is. So I have this feeling that a lot of countries in Asia will get a lot of breaks from the tariffs.
Oh, is it?
So like the key ones are Vietnam, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan.
Because they are surrounding China lah. So they want
Correct.
to support these countries that are around China.
India,
okay.
it can be part of it. Like India and Japan has very strong ties, but India, like it's not. They're always very neutral. They're like you don't know what they think. So then that leaves ASEAN lah. Where do we play? So I guess we need to work together as ASEAN. That's why Singapore mentioned it. And then after that, the wider one will be some sort of Indo-Pacific.
Has Anwar made any announcement yet?
Thing, bro.
No, but
He
you
did
know,
mention. He did talk about it. No,
Yeah,
I
make
know
an
it's
announcement.
it's not an announcement, but he did talk about
But
it.
I think we need better ambassadors in US. That's what I think. Because like, when Trump was elected, this is what I heard in the Ong Kian Ming podcast with this.
Oh, I'm okay, man.
I'm okay, yeah. Is that the ambassador right now, what's his name? Neza or something?
Don't know.
I don't know. As soon as Trump was elected, right, all the countries, right, were actually going to congratulate, like making phone calls to congratulate Trump.
What our Macha did.
Bro, Anwar didn't make any calls, but maybe I don't know lah. That we could be a backdoor thing.
Maybe
like
he
could
WhatsApp
have done
lah.
it.
He WhatsApp him.
Maybe WhatsApp or WeChat.
Or
who knows?
he did it, but he didn't
Grats,
didn't
bro.
do it publicly.
Grats,
you know what I
bro.
mean? But the thing is, we didn't create that form of tie yet, like that form of like publicly announcing to the world that, oh, we are supporting Trump as a president of United States, and we want to be part of this, this treaty or this whatever this group that you're calling lah. Right?
But I think it's very complicated for Malaysia, if you ask me. Because if, I don't know how to put this in a non-racial way lah, but if you were Anwar Ibrahim, right, if you decide lah, right,
Yeah.
you need to appease a lot of people lah. First of all, I think like what MJ was saying, the strength of America needs to be somewhat respected.
Yeah.
Not to say don't respect or respect, but I think you respect the power, and then there's also Chinese respect. So if you were to show like appreciation to like the tariff or the decision that was made by Trump, that would show China that, oh, you taking his side, is it? That's one. And number two, also, it's also saying that, oh, you don't really support our local Proton and local
That
businesses
could
because
be,
of
but the story that what Ong Kian Ming was trying to say is, we need a better ambassador because the ambassador didn't know how to say it.
Fucker on holiday, is it?
Yeah, it's like he's on holiday or what? Because he's supposed to be advising Anwar, hey,
Yeah.
Trump is a different president here.
Yeah.
He
yeah.
likes a lot of the physicality. He likes a lot about the hugs and all these kind of things. Better get on your phone quickly, give him a call and congratulate him. But he wasn't doing that kind of job, you know. He was just over there, you know.
What's his name again? Sorry.
I forgot, bro. Like Niza or something. I forgot.
He's
You can
what's his
Google
position?
him. He's just the
Ambassador
ambassador of Malaysia in United States lah.
Oh, maybe
So
you can put that
he-
up. USA.
yeah. So like, I mean, that podcast is just trying to say we need to elect a
Which
better
podcast is
ambassador.
it? This is the
I'm okay, man. Right?
The Ong Kian Ming one.
The On Camping
with who?
with that money, Mr. Money guy.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, my point is we also need a better representation and a connector between Malaysia and US. That's important. It doesn't matter if we show China that we are actually trying to create ties with them or what. It doesn't matter. The point is we need to have our own separate way of communicating, connecting with US.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you can do it behind the scenes, behind the doors.
You don't need to make it public.
Yeah,
lah.
but make sure you do it lah. That's the thing. Yeah. So he's not very confident with the current ambassador. That's what he's trying to say.
I see. You send me link later. I listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right. Because you know, in a global war that sparks out, we have the Malacca Strait. So this is going to be a key.
So we are back to
strategic
Selat
point.
Melaka again lah.
Because like you know, recently there was an argument over the Panama Canal.
Oh
So
man.
it was owned by Li Ka-shing, which is a honky guy, and he owned the Panama Canal, the two important ones in like the beginning and the end of the canal. He sold it to BlackRock. Then suddenly, apparently President Xi basically asked him to delay and stop the deal.
Whoa.
So there are four, right? There are four choke points in the world. Panama, Hormuz, Strait of Hormuz, which is Iran, out of Iran, UAE and all that. Suez Canal and
Selat Melaka.
Selat Melaka.
Suez Canal is the one that where the ship
Egypt.
block one, right? The one that thing.
yeah,
And then
Egypt.
everybody like no exports for a while.
So for that one, I mean, Israel and Israel's there, right? Panama Canal was owned by Li Ka-shing, but it's right at America's doorstep.
Yeah. And
Built
Trump
by
is trying to
Americans,
fight back for that canal or something, right?
Yeah, he wants to buy it back for
Yeah.
like 23 billion. This what where we are is, I mean, or rather Strait of Hormuz, you know, that's Iran's backyard. But this part, which is the most strait goes through here one, which is Malacca Strait, is not owned by anybody lah, right? But it's also another crucial checkpoint. Because one of China's vulnerabilities is import of raw material. So a lot of it goes, Japan as well, a lot of it goes through the Strait of Malacca.
No one owns
So
Malacca.
in the event of a war, because the US is a maritime power, ma. So if they were to exercise their strength, they will control choke points.
Come back to Melaka lah. Let's go lah. JW Birch, Penang. Let's
So
go
if we
back.
are enemies, let's say we're enemies to the US, we'll be collateral already. They'll be like, screw you, port clank, bang, done. They'll just send one carrier.
So
there.
at least we know Clang
Then
will die
this
first.
like no more Pearl Harbor, bro. Just Port Klang lah. They just
Port
pop,
Klang,
pop,
not
pop,
Pearl
lah.
Harbor.
You know, like the US, right? They can send any B-52 bomber anywhere in the world in 20 minutes. Depending on where
That's
you
the
are.
fastest predator in the world, right?
Sorry, what the fuck is it
It's a
called?
bomber, it's a B-52 bomber.
What
And
is
then
that?
with
It's like
drones, it's a devastating one. You type in. This one is from my friend who was a Marine.
20
And
minutes.
he told me this was true in the 90s already. So today, I think it's probably faster. Maybe they use drones or whatever.
What?
I'm serious.
Bro.
Yeah.
bro, he can wipe
Bro,
out a
that
whole
shit-
state or a country or what? How big? How
No,
bad?
that's
is
not B-52,
Bro, I see this nonsense since Command and Conquer, bro.
Bro, why this one look like B2?
Oh,
Whoa, bro, B2
shit.
Spirit look like fucking, what's the movie? The top
20 minutes,
Top Gun, bro.
Because the closest base here, I think is Singapore, Changi. They have access to.
Oh,
Changi,
B-52A. Damn, dude.
And then,
So they want to kill
20
us.
minutes,
Die,
ah.
yeah.
20 minutes.
But how what's the radius of how much they can wipe out?
As long as
You can go lah. I mean, depends on what bomb. Beef is just the plane.
The plane, but then he can release.
I don't know what bombs they'll be using.
Bro,
if they want to use.
whatever bomb, we are dead lah, okay?
Because basically it'll be level lah. It'll be flat lah.
Hey, you know, right? I was watching this. I don't know who sent it to me. I think it was Justin. I forgot. It was like this clip, right, about how there's this Japanese manga artist, right, who predicts futures.
Oh yeah.
Bro,
I saw that,
you know, right? There's going to be like this mega earthquake that's going to be happening this
It happened
year.
at Bangkok, what?
No. This I don't know what's the Nankai coastline. The earthquake is supposedly more than 8.0. You know. And
Shit, that's big.
yeah, bro. And it's gonna like
But it's something like if she misses it, then it will be like plus 15. So if it doesn't happen when she says it's gonna happen, then it will be plus 15.
plus
Something
15 years.
like that. Yeah, something like that.
Hopefully it's like 15. I'm going to Japan this year. But basically, right?
Bro, a magnitude of 8.0.
Yeah,
Don't go Japan.
You know, right? I went to Kobe, right? And I saw the devastation of the Great Hyogo earthquake, you know. And I was like, damn, bro. It's quite hardcore. They left a piece of it untouched just to show the power of the earthquake, you know. I can see, right, the fucking ground, right, like just tear on, you know, like a paper, you know. Then I was just like, damn, bro. That's quite intense, man. And that's just one part they didn't repair, just to remind people how bad an earthquake can be. So they got all this history shit, right? Like the Highway 4, all that. Then I'm like, damn, bro. Then I saw the earthquake. It's not even compared to this, you know. That's predicted, you know.
8.0 is like,
Bro,
World War Z, man.
Bro,
Yeah,
that one,
bro.
the earthquake was so bad, right? Like they needed, I think like 3 days from 3 to 4 days of people from Tokyo to deliver food and water, you know. There's no food and water already, you know, in that area. It's fucked already, you know. No connection, no nothing, you know. Because the roads are all fucked also,
Yeah.
right?
So they have
roads,
to,
trains,
like,
all
walk
gone. Yeah, they had to find additional methods of transporting like bare necessities through like mountain, you know.
Broken.
I don't want an earthquake lah.
Yeah, so right, I was thinking, right, if let's say the choke point at Selam Melaka happened and then this earthquake happened also, it was like, wow,
Malaysia.
bro. No, I mean like at the Nankai area lah. It's like, wow, total chaos, man, this year.
It will.
Yeah, and then it'll be a radial effect also. If there's an earthquake there, who's going to be impacted in the closest like neighboring countries and shit?
Yeah, so in war, this is they call this the terrain lah, right?
Bro.
Like a lot of people do simulation on like US versus China and Taiwan.
So
But
who
a
won?
lot of them don't factor in, for example, typhoons.
Geography, typhoon.
Like you can plan
Weather.
everything. Then suddenly there's a typhoon, right? Like the Mongolians tried to invade Japan twice, but they got the typhoon.
Typhoon.
They got
Kamikaze.
the wind, yeah.
Kamikaze lah, right? God's wind lah, right? They call it. So divine wind. So they,
Shit.
you know, so things like that, right? Like it's going to be,
Factor.
you don't know one. Like, that's why in war, it's like you can plan all you want, but
What? Weather is
that
weather,
day-
bro.
Sounds like events. though.
Bro, I like how we progress from just speaking about
Tariff
tariffs
to war.
because it's very real.
It's
like,
very
like, I
real,
think if
bro.
there's one message, let all you know, and also the listeners is like, you know, start reading Sun Tzu lah. That's all I can say. That's what I believe. I think that we have to prepare. Maybe it won't happen to us. Maybe the risk will be much larger for our kids. Maybe, right? There may be a 15, 20 year delay from the decisions being made today.
Yep.
Shit lah.
Bro.
Gonna be the great reset lah.
No, you know, right? In the 20s, that's why they call it the roaring 20s.
Yes, exactly.
Because that's what everybody was spending. Like it was peak, you know. And then after peak, then war happened, you know. It's like mirroring.
When is it?
roaring
1920s.
Yeah, bro.
1920s.
So it's about.
That's why
100 years.
everyone got a car. That's when the car was introduced. It got mass
Oh
marketed.
yeah, bro.
You
And
look
then
at the past
fridge
10 years,
was like
the EVs.
BYD.
Oh yeah, bro.
Its history repeat itself, bro.
Technology was like high at that point, right? It was peak as fuck.
COVID not enough
Hey,
lah for our
went back
generation. Our generation, COVID not enough. God,
Another recession.
bro, I tell you, man, it's some mad shit. You know.
Then there was
you heard
like
it
a lot
first.
of fucking gays also back then.
What
I mean,
the
I'm not
fuck?
hating on gays or anything, but that's what I heard lah. Like, that's what-
It was a loose culture.
Yeah, it was a super loose like Babylon lah. I mean,
Yeah,
Babylon
yeah.
in the Bible also is the same shit also. There was at one point in this
Language,
culture and this country was having a lot of loose
then-
loose free form kind of culture lah.
Then Babylon
So-
gone.
Gone.
Holy.
All I can say is, right, like, if it comes, right, I see it as a big opportunity. If you have it, a lot of people's wealth today, right, was the generational wealth was because of pre-war advantage. You know?
So you reset.
So that's how I see it. When there's this crisis, to me, it's one opportunity. Like my great-great-grandfather was at one point the second richest man in Malacca. Why? Because he had the only car in Malacca at that point in time, or in his town. So when the Japanese invaded, they're like, oh, we need a car. Oh, we use a car so we don't kill you.
Oh,
So he used the car. And then...
that's how your legacy survives today, bro. That's crazy, bro.
so then
that's crazy.
he after the Japanese left, he rebuilt everything. There's a street named after him, literally my great grandfather's road.
What's the street name?
It's called Gunlap. It's in Justin, Malacca.
God damn.
So they will be like, "Well, is that your grandfather's road?" No,
Like,
it's not,
yes.
but it's my great
Yeah,
grandfather.
he
So
built-
you can park anywhere you want.
He rebuilt, like at the peak, right? He had a butler. So like when my dad and my uncle were kids, they wanted to go into Malacca town to buy stuff. He would open literally his treasure chest, bro. Then he would take out a shilling. He said, okay, here's the allowance to buy whatever you want to buy. Then the butler would drive the only car. Imagine the only car into Malacca town and then bring the kids to go and buy.
Oh, bro,
it.
the course of history, bro, so interesting.
Yeah,
bro.
man.
Like your whole family legacy
Yeah.
Because
based
of
on
that
that
one
one car, bro.
What car is that?
But
The-
unfortunately, my great-grandfather was a playboy, so he squandered everything. So then my grandfather still did okay. Then by the time I reached my dad, all the wealth was gone. And we were like on the same level as like the Leong Hub guys, apparently.
Wait, what car did your great
I forgot already. I need to ask. I don't know.
Wow.
Bro, that's fucking interesting, bro.
Yeah,
That's
man.
damn interesting.
Just because you have
Oh,
a car.
yeah. Then my uncle was also my great grandfather was also like collecting something rubber related one. So when the war kicked in, right, suddenly the price of rubber just shot up like mad. So that's when he got like big amounts of money to build schools, graveyards, roads.
Once the
shop
war
lots,
comes,
everything.
the Indians gonna be rich. We are all rubber tappers, right? Ready? Go! It's funny how...
Okay, bro, but I had to bring this up.
What?
We are humans of like what, 2025 years, maybe even more, whatever. Yeah. We go through this same form of history, I say maybe 3 times, 4 times already. Now is the best time for us to learn from our lesson and do something about
We
it.
are
right?
about to be a lesson, bro.
You cannot say this is inevitable because if
it's
you
not.
say this is inevitable means it's happening already, bro. Right?
I'm not saying it's inevitable.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's possible.
So
Yeah.
are you telling me Thanos was right?
no. Wait, what?
I don't know.
Talking about, bro?
we have too much resources, not
yeah.
enough
Oh, too
resources.
much.
Yeah.
Damn, so it's wrong.
No, I say countries have to live up. I mean, in the end, right, it's part of evolution. I mean, I'm going to go like so super crazy about it. It's evolution.
Yeah.
If we all just bow our heads down, we all just kill our egos,
Make amends.
follow whatever
Yeah,
Trump
just-
go and do this shit, whatever, we will thrive as a human. As a
Bro,
human.
did you see the Chinese announcement?
Basically, you're telling China to please
Go
lah.
find the China, the guy.
Right, I
you know
don't
the
think
announcement,
this
right?
conflict, it will be the first time we will have a space battle. So
Yeah.
What is better?
Bro, it's fucking. Let's
go!
Imagine red color. Bro, you know that
Elon
blue
Musk will
color.
be he may be a general. I don't know.
General Trump?
Yeah, I don't know. He may be the CTO of the US Army. What?
I mean, it sounds far-fetched, right? But we really need to evolve as a human, right?
Now we can produce drones. So we can send drones into space to fight already.
Yeah.
Because one of the key battle points will be the satellites. Satellites gives you all the imagery, all the information, internet.
Yeah.
So each country will try to take out their...
Bro, what's the Kardashev scale or something like?
Oh, that one.
We're like, I heard like we're like at 0.7 or
Something like
something.
that.
Oh, you mean
The first like 1.0,
first tier, second tier civilization.
Yeah. Okay, so every time we have this war, right? You see our evolution. If you watch the Kyrgyzstan, all that shit, right?
Yeah.
Our evolution is always stepping. When we reach war, we go back down.
But then the pickup
Then
is...
we step. Reach war again, we go back down again.
Oh,
Now
man.
this is again we reaching the threshold.
of
We're
maximum.
up to the peak. We just have to lower down our ego. Just do whatever the fuck is
Then we can
right
continue.
to keep our world peace, and we continue.
Bro, I'm
evolving.
telling you, bro.
You're
But
that
you see,
China.
If or not means if we keep doing this, if you all watch Kyrgyzstan video, right? If we keep falling and keep falling and keep falling, we will end up going down, and we will lose the whole population. I mean, we will just be ground zero. We won't be at Earth
become
anymore.
we reset to primate again.
Yeah. So we need to fix this. This is a threshold.
But
point where we
it's
have
so
to
easy
fix
for
it.
us because we don't have a lot of ego, bro. But if you see this Chinese guy make that
Yeah, I want to
announcement,
see.
he is
His
maximum ego.
I would
bro.
say there's even a possibility that we'll fight on Mars also because because Elon Musk says that we're going to reach there in like say 10, 20 years or something.
Galactic
Bro,
battle.
this is the
Big
Dragon
galactic
Ball.
battle.
This is the Dragon Ball equivalent. Let's go to somewhere there's nobody. Then go there.
Honestly, because there'll be resources on Mars, and the first country who reach there first will have an edge.
Bro,
Right now, it seems like the US is ahead, but
All we can do is just sit and watch and pray.
Bro, are you finding that Chinese guy making the announcement?
What announcement?
Because when Trump announced the tariff, he made this announcement. This Chinese representative, I forgot what his position. He said something about like the Chinese will not be bullied into whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? He's a guy wearing glasses.
Chinese thing to
he's
say,
the
bro.
spokesperson, lah, right? Probably, right?
He,
Buyao! Is that what- That's what he said.
no. He said it like this, bro. He said, 中国这不是不对，这我是共是共。
No.
Bro, did you find it?
我不要。
Ayo, Nick, I find lah that dude.
Wait, fine.
Bro,
I'm
I
gonna
choose-
go. Washroom break for me, bro.
Bro, I show speed. Thank you, bro. You're the man, bro.
Yeah, he might be the guy who
He might be the guy that saves the world, bro.
he'll be like Kobe, in the Marine Fort War. Bro.
Bro, I don't know lah. That guy, what's he gonna do? Run? Speed or what? Like, what is he gonna
bro,
run or
he's
what?
the Gen Z, man. He's gonna be like the next
He's a Naruto of
key
this generation. lah.
influencer to all the Gen Zs. Because if once we reach the point where we are not working anymore, who's the next generation that's taking over?
Found it?
The Gen Zs and the Alphas.
Bro,
lah.
boy, not here. Fucker, this guy.
But I
takes a long
follow
time,
because I look at the Chinese Gen Zs also.
bro, they gave up on society, bro.
Yeah, and they're also not as like nationalistic.
Yeah,
They can't complain, right? But they're like, yeah, whatever,
No,
Bro,
man.
they're all like speaking English already. Like, I mean, a lot of them. A lot of
The
them.
ones that manage to study abroad, they do. But the majority of them are just like, nah.
Oh, yeah, lah. Of course, we're talking
Yeah.
about like the.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you travel, I think the city dwellers confirm, but the non-city dwellers no lah, bro. But a majority of them, I feel right, they not earning enough lah. They are just doing food
6,400
delivery.
USD a year.
Yeah, they're doing food delivery. Majority of them, they're doing service-based stuff like selling food, and like it's quite sad lah.
One in 5 youth, I think, 1 in 5, 1 in 6 are unemployed. And a big
damn.
chunk of those that are employed are doing Meituan, which is food delivery. lah.
It's the 996 also because they feel as if like you work them hard for let's say like 3 years. The moment you take your foot off the gas pedal for like literally just 1 month, you are just replaced. So they are like, why should I even try that hard? Fuck it lah. So a majority of them are facing this stuff.
And
issue lah.
then also harder to find mates.
Yeah.
Like Chinese girl apparently is a thing lah. Like when they go on first dates, right? Everything is like job, got house or not, got not. I'm like, wow. It's very foreign to me because when I go out with a Malaysian girl or even a Singaporean girl or whatever, that's not what we talk. That's not what we talk about. We talk about like
What movies?
Bro, you got see the dowry one. The like China, when China people get married,
Yeah.
they have the male have to give dowry
Yeah.
to
the female's family.
side. So the female side will always ask like fucking
Extravagant shit, man.
ridiculous, extravagant requests like, oh, I want 800K. I want 800K and two condominium unit.
Yeah.
Can you provide that? You cannot. Okay.
No marry.
Drink my daughter's piece or something like that. Yeah, something like that. Or like the feet, like like they ask the daughter and the whole family to rendam their feet in hot water, and they say you can't give us this the request that we grant for. I mean the request that we want. Drink this water, then we will grant your marriage.
Actually, I'm quite a gross fucker lah. I don't mind lah.
No lah, bro. Okay, yeah. But to be honest, for Mel, I would drink lah.
Oh, that's so romantic, man, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
gross fucker lah. I would do it lah. You know, if Jen's family went like, hey,
But
drink the feet water,
that
I'm
is
okay.
crazy shit, bro. Like the social there, the social class there.
there is this
China.
new this is in relation to people not having kids and all that. Like, I saw this video on South Korea and how the whole culture of South Korea will die in 2 to 3 generations.
Yep.
You see that shit?
Yep.
Bro, it's great. Dude, this is the guy, bro. Play with volume. 30 seconds and it already tells so much, bro.
Oh, Puyao!
No, it's not. Louder? Oh, your sound not connected, bro.
I don't. 我不明白为什么 any
Listen, bro.
持霸道霸凌了一套，施压、胁迫和威胁不是同中方打交道的正确方式。我们奉劝美方收起霸凌的嘴脸，趁早回到对话合作的正确轨道上来。
Wait, I got a lot of questions. Number one, why is anything they do an
Send me this
attack?
link.
Like,
That's how China interprets everything.
whatever they do, oh, so attacks her.
Hey, bro.
Chill,
No
daddy.
way.
About you give me trade war, you give me what war space war, I will come and confront you.
And then,
No, wait. So people who are listening to this podcast, Nick was saying this video was cut short. And actually this guy was saying how trade war, what war also.
it's,
We will deal with it.
I just find the video
God
quite
damn.
hypocritical. Like, he's ended a statement saying we should have cooperation, blah, blah, blah. But then you don't allow people to use WhatsApp, Facebook and shit in your own damn country.
VPN can.
Okay. VPN can. Everyone.
No, but it's not just that they cannot. Yeah, they can use a VPN to create a Facebook account now. Right? It's that people like Facebook or that cannot sell products.
So, 你不要给我们 cooperation, 为什么我要给你 cooperation?
Yeah, but that's how China thinks are.
They've
So
always been like that, ma.
most countries in the world think like how Trump is thinking one. It's just that Trump is the current president that thinks like how every other country think. They always think about my own interest. Ma. So for a long time, the US did not think like that. And then
Now
now
they think it's an attack.
yeah.
So if next time Trump say China will get 50% discount, hey, don't attack me, don't bully me. We will not. I guess everything's an attack to them lah.
Yeah. They have, I don't know, I feel like China is a bit like, it's very teenager, lor, right? They have certain inferiority complex.
Your angst.
Triggered.
Yeah.
It's
Angst.
like they will tell you lah, they are an old civilization and they are respectful, but the way they behave is so very. I mean, like you can't even call President Xi Winnie Pooh.
But Trump, you can call him anything, bro.
Exactly.
No, not only that, they literally took a fake head of him being severed, right?
Yeah, bro.
Trump chill, bro.
You know what's so funny also, right? You know what? A lot of us, right? A lot of the Chinese supporters,
ultras, yeah.
Chinese ultras in Malaysia, right? They will shit on America so much, so much, bro.
But using iPhone.
Shit on Trump, shit on all the American administration, so gao, Okay? And then they are like so okay with like praising China, like gao, But then when you look at it, if imagine one day, right, like we are so freedom of speech, right? When it comes to America, imagine you say one bad thing about like Anwar. Bro, he gone so.
Just don't say about Agong lah, because you really gone.
Don't you think? Like the freedom that they have, right, is so like, Americans can say, anybody around the world, and they like, chill lah, say lah.
Yeah, just chill lah.
But
They probably join in. They're probably harder on their own president
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
than you are.
yeah, man.
Like the far left, especially right
Yeah,
now.
in fact, a lot of Americans themselves don't even know the role America plays and all these things.
They're so removed, man.
Yeah,
They're
so like they sort of said that. They
Actually, until today, if you never tell me this, I would have thought that America would have just let everything run, take the bullet for themselves.
Do you think-
Then today they're like, enough is
But,
enough.
Yeah, but you think about it,
know?
right? Like I don't put up any. Just I show you the graph, right? The
Yeah.
barrier graph. They are the lowest among all the big countries. Who destroys your opponent? And then after, okay, here's some money. Please rebuild yourself.
Nobody,
That's my
bro.
point.
Nobody, bro. Even Ukraine is like fighting for Russia to pay for the Ukraine city damage. It's like, so must be fair, 100% that type of thing. But
I guess it's MAGA lah. Make Malaysia.
question also, right? So with these tariffs are provided, there is no agreement reached between Malaysia and America lah. Okay, and then it becomes an ego battle between Malaysia and America and the rest of the world versus America. Let's just say lah, hypothetically lah. How gradual do you think the changes are going to be? Or is it going to be a very, very overnight
I
price
think
hike?
given the global economy, it'll be quite fast.
Is it?
I think so.
So you think it'll be overnight? Like for
I
example,
don't know
like,
overnight lah, but maybe 2-3 quarters.
like my Reese's peanut butter cups the next day is going to cost
probably.
me like 15 ringgit instead of
Probably,
5
yeah.
ringgit. Jesus fucking Christ.
Jesus.
I better go buy Reese's peanut butter cups later.
I would say give it a year lah.
A year.
That's next year.
That is China's calculation. So China's calculation is he increased all the tariffs, inflation is going to go up, and then the Americans are going to complain, and then the midterm elections, the Congress is going to change, flip blue rather than red, and then Trump will be hamstrung to make what he wants to do, and and then in 4 years' time he gets
Re-elect.
he
He cannot re-elect, right?
He cannot.
I heard that he
2
would
terms
push for JD Vance to be the president,
Wow.
and then when he is serving his term, he stepped down as president because and he will run as vice president. So vice president always
To extend.
automatically
Become president.
Become president. So he just switch roles.
But the
again.
term will be extended.
No.
Still same term lah.
No, he in technical form is that the next term he will serve as a vice president, basically like that. Trump will serve as a vice president. JD Vance will be the president, but JD Vance will step down as a president for him in order
be
for
a
him to
president.
be reinstated as the president.
So he's just trying to use
But
the
either way,
loophole lah.
for me, from my understanding, these two are one.
Yeah.
If JD Vance is the president, it's basically the same policy also.
Same thing.
Yeah. So it's like you really want Trump out of the picture, you need to get the Democrats be back in play lah.
At this
But
point,
it's impossible at this point lah.
we just
it's
need
too
a
bad, bro.
rumbling.
If United States thrive within all these tariffs and all these,
There will be another re-election of the rates again.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's China's calculation.
We found the full video.
Let's go war, bro.
Let's fucking watch this movie lah.
They will match, and hopefully the inflation.
2 minutes 16 lah. Let's watch lah. 2 minutes 16. I'll read it out loud lah. Okay, so that people who are listening to this podcast will know who is this guy, what is he saying. The fentanyl issue is a flimsy excuse to raise the US tariffs on Chinese imports. China has made clear its opposition more than once. Our countermeasures to defend our rights and interests are fully legitimate and necessary. The US, not anyone else, is responsible for the fentanyl crisis. In the spirit of humanity and goodwill towards the American people, we have taken robust steps to assist the US in dealing with the issue. Gone, man?
Go what?
This is obvious to all, and people from various sectors in the US have expressed thanks to China on multiple occasions. Wait, what? They got Instead of recognizing our efforts, the US has lied about our contribution and shifted the blame on China, and is seeking to pressure and blackmail China with tariff hikes. They've been pushing us for helping them. They've been punishing us for helping them. This is not going to solve the US's problem and will deal a heavy blow to our counter-narcotics dialogue and cooperation. Let me reiterate that intimidation does not scare us. Bullying does not work on us.
从来不持霸道霸凌那一套，
Only later see the comments.
施压
Pressuring, coercion, or threats are not the right way of dealing with Zhongguo, with China.
They cut out.
Anyone using maximum pressure on China is picking the wrong guy and miscalculating. If the US truly wants to solve the fentanyl issue, the right thing to do is to consult with China on the basis of equality, mutual respect, and mutual benefit to address each other's concerns. If the US has any other agenda in mind, and if war is what the US wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any type of war, we are ready to fight till the end. GG lah, guys. Go buy toilet paper lah, bro.
It's just nationalist talk lah.
Yeah, we urge the US to stop being domineering and return to the right track of dialogue and cooperation at an early date.
I don't understand. Someone wrote that shit for him.
Of course, 100%.
First, it's not even.
course, bro.
It's not even like, so. He's basically talking about the fentanyl
Comments.
fentanyl crisis. That is one of the many.
Oh, that's from Mexico,
This
right?
is serious warning because Chinese don't always talk so direct.
Actually, they do lah.
If you look at the document that I got, the Malaysian side, the Malaysian ones also. So Malaysian side only got 5 pages, give or take. The China one got like almost 30 pages. So it's not just the fentanyl crisis that they're talking about. It's a bunch of all these other things. So they talk about how they are against tariffs and all that, but they also implement tariffs.
Yeah.
That is the idiotic thing for me.
True also lah. And
Like tariffs for what?
yeah, the media has to do better in informing lah.
Yeah.
I believe so. So they cannot just release this and just say.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, these guys are scared of China also lah. They just release this and then they don't have any like follow up. But a true follow up, like what MJ says, to release other information. Like it's
To
not just
balance it out.
fentanyl crisis.
Yeah.
But they're going through what other crises that I don't know that MJ just spout out just now.
People,
But
I'm sure they only say what they want you to hear.
Yeah,
They never say
The full picture.
That's why
Sure.
the Trump team, right?
Yeah.
Their defense now, right? When you attack them on tariffs and how it's going to cause all these problems, it won't work and things like that. Their response is, so then why other countries do it?
yeah,
So proven, right? China do
Yeah.
it. That's why I say, to me, a lot of the big powers, EU is also talking about tariffs. To me, this is a dumb move lah. It's just going to make things worse. So the three big guys, US, EU, and China all want to put tariffs. But it's only the Singaporeans, the tiny ones, like, guys, please stop.
please.
Stop.
Kita kecil tau.
Stop. I need my chicken rice at Forcing. I want my chicken rice there.
Have you all seen Tropic Thunder?
Yeah,
the Ben Stiller in the beginning, like, doof, 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 he gets shot. That's Singapore, bro. Oh, yo, damn, bro.
Stop. No, I don't. Later Malaysia put tariff on water.
Oh my God.
Come
Y'all
back,
better watch
Dagi.
out.
Come
Y'all
back,
better
Dagi.
watch out.
But I think because
They suffer
he,
from drought, one drop.
I think based on that announcement, you can kind of see it's more negative than positive lah.
Yeah.
Overall.
I mean, all the ministers coming out, prime ministers and all these kind of big guys coming out to like talk about this tariff, like this is gonna, change the course of human history and stuff like that.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's not good news lah.
I mean, maybe it's about time, man. What MJ say? All the
Like
while,
Trudeau, then the Singapore prime minister, then this guy like
Yeah.
America has been so chill. Now they just say, hey, man, I just want to regulate my country again. Everyone's like, no. How about my country? What about your US?
Yeah, nobody cares.
Nobody care?
I
This whole
feel, I don't know, man. I feel like US is doing the right thing for their own sake.
Their own people.
Their
Yeah.
own sake. And these guys are all just like being
Selfish lah.
woos lah.
Yeah,
Woos lah.
a bit lah.
Basically, they like, hey, please lah, don't lah.
China
Why
didn't
suddenly
say,
you want to attack?
China
No,
didn't say,
yeah.
please, Luna. Saying, don't lah.
No, but in a way, they are trying to tell them,
Don't lah.
don't have this domineering kind of character over us.
Yeah.
We are also trying to play fair with you. Then suddenly you want to hit more tariffs on us and stuff like that. Like, bro, it's about time you get there. I mean, it's not about time you get there. It's about time
Everything is
US
fair,
have to do something for,
For
themselves.
themselves,
lah.
yeah.
So it's fair ni lah. It's fair game lah. So you have, as a country, that if you think is
Gonna hurt you.
is gonna hurt you, do something about it lah.
Open up, let
Yeah,
Facebook.
don't go to the world and say, hey, see this motherfucker? See this guy, bro? He try act cuckoo, bro. Like, let's gang up, bro. Let's gang up, bro. You know what I mean?
I call my gang. Bro, literally, bro.
Okay,
Chinese
so
gangster,
then
bro.
what I'm trying to say is these kind of guys that are inflicting and are the catalyst to creating a bigger war.
Yeah.
Like creating
Like
a bigger conflict against US.
That's why if I'm China and I see this as an opportunity to take global leadership away from the US, I wouldn't be putting tariffs. I'll be saying, no, we want to maintain an open and free world.
Yeah.
And so we will, in fact,
Open ourselves.
engage in more free trade agreements with
Other
everybody,
countries. Yeah.
including the US. Then straight away we're like, okay, we can respect that. But this one is just
You want fire? Fire. I call my gang. Bro, oh my God lah.
that's why
got
all these Chinese ultras, they don't realize it's not that we don't want China to be a leader. We are fine. We have accepted the US as a leader for a long time.
Yep.
And if China wants to, it's okay. We are a small country.
I don't care.
We cannot be leaders as a small country. Right? Singapore has done such a great job and they are still just Singapore, right?
Yeah.
We have no.
That's a clip.
No,
That's a
bro,
clip.
that's 100%, bro.
That's a clip.
No, you know what I mean? No, but that's
Yeah,
It's not a shit on Singapore. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of fact. Singaporeans,
Yeah, it's a fact.
They
know.
admit it.
They
And
know.
it's the same as Malaysia.
Yeah.
No amount of leadership.
Yeah.
The last time we did some sort of leadership role was we boycott South Africa in the African products because of the apartheid, something like that.
Really?
Or in Olympics, something like that.
Such thing.
Because that's it, right? But then after that, we forget. So
Yes, we forget.
It's not that we don't want China to be there. China can be a leader. It's okay.
Yeah.
But what guarantees are we going to get that you are going to treat us like how the US treat us? You see, right? People complain about the US because they're domineering. But US, a lot of it is just words. Only when you threaten them physically, then they bomb your country.
Yeah.
Or you have to
Malaysia-
bomb them first lah. Technically, you bomb Pearl Harbor, then they bomb
In
you.
Malaysia, Mahathir he insult Jews. He openly says, or rather, he didn't deny he was an anti-Semitic. White people call him anti-Semitic. Then he say he didn't directly refute and say no. right? He says so many things are inflammatory to the US.
They just chill.
Yes,
They chill.
still
bro.
trade all-time
All-time high.
all-time high, right? So, like, the US says the wrong thing, but they do the right
Yeah,
thing.
functional. lah.
Yeah, in that sense.
Yeah.
But with China, right? Like, you see how they're dealing with the South China Sea issue.
Yeah, terrible. They go and
Philippines,
bomb
they're
all
pushing
those.
Philippines away. They're pushing
The ships
Vietnam.
also, right? They go and whack the ships, go pour. Oh, bro, mad, bro.
things like that.
Yeah.
Then when you want to, that day I had this stupid debate about the South China Sea, right? I said, look, the Hague, right, in 2017 or 18 already ruled, which is in Netherlands, the Hague, right? They have zero interest in the South China Sea. That's why they are as neutral as you can get, right? The only one more neutral I can think of is like Scandinavia, maybe. So they ruled that China cannot build stuff in South China Sea. They cannot reclaim land. They cannot build. China ignored. Then someone debate me on a technicality. Then they say, "Oh, the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, is not legitimate, and is biased." And we're like, okay. So let's say they're illegitimate, they're biased. And okay, let's say they're okay. Who is not biased? Who can adjudicate this matter? Can't be you. Can't be us. It needs to be someone. It cannot be USA because they are also biased. It needs to be someone. Who do you suggest? The point is, you cannot settle this issue if you want to be seen as a good leader. You cannot settle this issue by bulldozing away. That's the whole point. It's not about the technicality. Okay, maybe you're right. I debated the guy. I said, yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe the ICJ is full of crap and they're biased. Okay, who's the replacement? Who is the neutral party? So that means to the pro-China, China Ultra people, to them is, no, this is our right. This is
They feel entitled to
Yeah,
own it. Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
right.
Well,
Why not? Then the argument is that because they found stuff in the area, like certain trinkets or whatever, then they can claim Malaysia. A lot of Chinese things we can dig out of the ground.
At this point in Malaysia, should
Malaysia,
just be
yeah.
India also then.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? So what guarantees do small nations have that China will become
So benevolent like
benevolent?
America. Yeah.
But then the other thing is, they say you can make the case, okay, the current leaders won't be like that because so far they've shown more restraint. Okay, fine, no problem. The next leaders. How do we know the next? Because, China, unlike the US, follows a system. So the policies don't change too much over time. Only up to now they start changing. But in China, it's based on the individual.
Yeah.
Before President Xi, China was, right? 2008 Olympics. Everyone was friendly. You could go there and make money. A lot of white people was staying there. Today, the number of US students in China is like sub 1,000.
No,
very low.
serious?
Very, very low. Yeah, incredibly low. But they're very unfriendly to outsiders. So if the person change, then the policy change. So what guarantees do people have?
Because it's generational rather than consistency. If let's say 20 years is good, then the next 20 years not good. So how do you promise that if you become the big boss, it will be a long-term stability thing?
yeah.
And the US have so far they've been consistent. If you threaten us national security, we'll destroy you. That's it. And we'll destroy you.
But still help you after that. Don't worry, we still help you after that. We destroy
become a
you.
democracy.
Then I give you reparation.
Yeah.
Yes,
So they are the key. You would say they are the key factors
They're protagonist energy.
for us not going into war. If China chose to be more lenient, or not lenient, but be more submissive in this tariff war and stuff like that, and if we follow in that order, it will be a more peaceful process.
Yeah, so the American calculation has always been if they trade with China and over time they will learn about democracy and all that, slowly they will become a democracy. That's the best case. If they become more democratic, then I think we'll have another big wave of wealth, right? Because they'll be much more open. We'll get to learn more about China. They'll get to learn more about the rest of the world and all that.
They become more open.
Much more open, right?
Singapore will be more happy.
Bro, this level of coordination, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be damn crazy.
But this is let's call this is the best case. The second best case scenario is that's why we need the US here. Because they act as a counterbalance to China.
The power.
So China can bully you economically, but they cannot bully you militarily. Because they do that.
Huh?
The BRICS I don't think it will work. Yeah.
Why do you wait? Why?
Because first of all, India and China are not the best friends.
Yeah.
They're not like mortal enemies, but they've had skirmishes at their borders before. Like people died fighting just as recent as a few years ago only. So India is there. I don't think they are really a force. They're going to play ball with China, right? They will respect China, but you're not going to make decisions for us. You've got then the other two is Brazil and Russia.
Why Brazil?
I mean, what are these economies? These are not
What are these?
mean, bro. Main players. So India is not going to play ball with what China. In fact, there is they call it a pearl of something like that. They are actually China are actually building ports and bases surrounding the whole of India. It's called a pearl of something.
Pearl necklace.
But they haven't even finished one belt, one road. They're doing a pearl now.
Yeah,
Pearl
something
necklace?
like that. So India is also growing in strength. So you can't bully them lah. Basically, India won't bully people, but you cannot bully them. Same with Japan also.
Don't bully people.
So that's why the second best is the United States must stay here, both economics and military. If they stay here to counterbalance, then it gives us small countries breathing space. So you get breathing space, then we'll continue. Right? Of course, we want the big powers to align that they are friends. But if cannot, then make sure they are equal power. That's why I keep telling Malaysians, you have to want Malaysia to be equidistant to both. Like the Singaporean mindset. Right?
Yeah.
So you got one time, the US parked their aircraft carrier in Singapore. So China complained, why you let America
cannot?
park in
Because
Changi,
too near to
naval
China
base?
ma.
Park only, ma.
So the Singaporean response, which is the correct one, is, would you like to park yours here as well?
I like that response.
It's like, hey, you put inside me already. You want to put inside me?
DP baby.
I like that response.
Right? That should be our response also.
Yeah.
Ours is they send mass invite to all. Just park inside me.
No lah, we should act
Yeah lah.
neutral lah.
That's
As
it.
neutral as possible lah.
Yeah.
Yes. So then the less conflict, but we need them here, right? We cannot be neutral about that. We have to be insisting that they are here.
Yeah.
Because without them, then it's big imbalance.
Yeah. It's too much of a weight on China's side versus
Man, bro, I don't even
They
know
sure
what.
want. They sure want to bully. Not this generation. Not generation is the next
You
one.
know, a lot of these China pro guys always try to tell me, right? Oh, China is the most logical. Like my dad used
Did
to
you
be
see
a-
the video? Logic, apa
Yeah,
lanjau.
bro. Yes, exactly. After like all this, right? Like reading through these theories and all this kind of stuff, right? And having this conversation, right? They are actually
Like what he said,
The
a bunch of
ego is quite
teenagers,
strong.
bro.
they're fucking teenagers, bro.
Because
They're really teenagers, bro.
although they are old civilization, they are relatively new in the modern world, right? Yeah, they have a 5,000 year history, but the Chinese Communist Party is what, 70, 80 years old? That's how we should be looking at them. And that's why they are teenagers. Now they are teenagers growing in strength. The classic case was the whole Neta conversation we had, right? Neta is now 2 billion grossing, is the most paid animated film, highest grossing animated film.
big,
I think
big
it's
highlighted, bold, underline.
top
Neza, is it Neza?
Nezatu lah, yeah, Nezatu, right? You see the animation is fantastic.
Good, bro. Way better than Snow
And
White.
we watched it and we can all agree animation is good. I thought the humor was not bad. He didn't like it,
didn't
but
like humor.
the story is a bit, right?
Yeah.
It's quite bad. Worse than Neta one actually.
But is it better than Marvel's storylines now? This actually maybe the Marvel quite shit
Nowadays,
now.
yes.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's easier. Nowadays it's very easy. I can do a better story. I just make sure my character set is not blue. You know.
I want to ask,
So
I don't know whether this is a good question.
Yeah.
or not. How will this affect North Korea?
wait, I'll go there, but I just finish this
Because,
Neta conversation.
talking
right?
about war and shit,
So,
right?
so when let me tell you why they're like teenagers, right? So when it came out, right? I write a high grossing movie, let's say like Avatar, right? The first question you want to ask is, how did he do it? How did James Cameron do it?
Yeah.
And what's the story? What's the theme? You want to learn about the movie. But online it became, this is China's moment. We're gonna overtake Hollywood now. The analogy I gave John was like, imagine you've got a guy, okay, his whole life, he has gotten babes, his whole life.
He's got
He's gotten 10 out of 10s all the while. And his friend, a bit overweight, got a lot of pimples, zero game, zero social awareness. suddenly start to work out a bit, eat healthier, sleep better and everything. And he managed to bag a 10.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, 110. Okay. Then when he bags the 10, the appropriate reaction should be,
Nice.
I got a bang, well done, you know.
High five.
Fantastic.
Let's gang, man.
Yeah, right? But then this guy goes to the guy who has been bagging 10s.
And it's like
I'm gonna
showing
take
off.
over you, bro.
Yeah, bro. Bro,
Just
there's so
enjoy your
many of
10.
these fucking sims
Right?
like that, bro.
You
I
know?
see a lot of these motherfucking sims out
Right,
there, bro.
right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's exactly what it is.
it is, bro.
That's
That is
exactly
the
what-
real representation of China,
Correct.
bro. Serious.
Correct? It's SDE.
Yeah.
How
small dick energy, baby.
Right? That's why I say they are like teenagers with a superiority complex. And I was using another example 30 years ago to compare and see how this rising animation country and how they handled it better, which is Japan. So I give you an example. 1995, Toy Story was the #1 animated film.
Good movie,
It
bro.
was good, right?
Superb.
Now, in that period, that's when all the Dragon Ball, Neon, I just watched Neon Evangelion Genesis.
Good shit, bro.
This
Akira,
great
bro.
for that time. The animation was the nata of the day, right? Do you see a Japanese?
You can see
people
Japanese
fighting?
pounding their chest.
Japanese
Never,
just
bro.
chill, bro. They mind their own business.
They just
lah.
go.
They come up like this, bro.
They just go. So Disney.
Yeah. so
They be like, people are jealous with us.
And today, you would argue that a lot of the animation have, in a way, surpassed. I mean, we're all
Yeah.
you're a fan of Naruto. We
Yeah.
watch
It's
anime
better.
and
Some
everything.
in some forms it's better than the Japanese stuff.
And the storylines, I'm a One Piece. I mean, the storyline is great, right? Like it's phenomenal, right?
the Chinese storyline cannot win, lah, bro.
So
Cannot on, lah.
the Japanese just put their head down. And they
Continue.
just do. And then when they outdo the years, they don't rub it in the face. They don't come out saying, "Oh, look at how great we are."
Actually, I think arguably only the Chinese do this because even when Koreans did it, like
Yeah.
Parasite, you know, all
No,
that,
see,
people
like,
just
yeah.
went like, damn,
Yeah.
dude,
You
that's
look at
crazy.
K-pop.
Yeah.
You look at K-pop. K-pop, right, has
Yeah.
like, not to say match American pop, but he has gotten really, really close. You know?
yeah, yeah.
Whether you like it or not, like, it's a separate discussion. But they're huge now.
But they don't bang their chest and
People
say
go
they're
It
the
was
best.
such a cultural thing, I think, in the end.
No, because it's Chinese pride, bro.
China number one.
No,
lah,
because
Yeah,
they,
bro.
you see, because right, I tell you, in the 80s, 70s and 80s, they looked across into Hong Kong, such a small place. But Hong Kong was 40% of their whole economy. One small place, 40% of the economy. Then they look further out, Taiwan. Oh shit, they're like, they're us. And they only have an island and they're doing so well. Then they look across Korea and Japan. Hey, they freaking borrowed our culture, you know. How come they're doing so much better? So at that time, they had the humility to, you know, just say, you know what,
Yeah.
let's open up and let's work with people. That's reversing now. And I think they're reversing a bit too early. How can you be reversing? How can you be starting to be cocky when your household income is $6,004?
Wow. That's
How
so
do
true.
you come back from there? So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how.
That's a solid argument.
But I mean, yeah, they just need to be more humble.
You know, in my office, right?
Stay humble.
Even Nick would know this. I used to be very sarcastic about 中国是第一, which means China #1.
Bro, I saw that shit, bro.
I-
Okay, 你欠.
Yeah.
你臭.
yeah, bro. I used to make fun of this shit like, 我中国是第一, 中国是第一. Bro, I can tell you when I say that, some Chinese ultras, they're like, yeah, this guy is on board. I'm like, you don't understand sarcasm, but it's okay. Like, bro.
Yeah. But you know, I have a lot of hope. The thing is, right? I look at people like LC Science
Yeah.
and all these people, right?
There is humble
That
people. Yeah.
this is the kind of Chinese you want. People who
But the
Willing to
government,
open up.
the government, the Chinese government is not a good representation of the Chinese people.
exactly.
That's the thing. Like if you meet the average Chinese person that is just working, they are like,
chill
chill,
guy.
it's not work only, bro. You want to do business together, Jom, let's go. You want makan or not? They actually one of the best hosts. They feed you like kings.
Yeah.
They treat you like kings.
But the people you meet are all below 50, right?
no lah, got.
Most
Actually, yeah, most of them under 50 lah.
those the generally the family friend that always come here from Xiamen, my one, he's a cool guy. He like I think he distributes Iberico pork in China, did really well. His daughter is coming here studying, you know, no problem. Like my uncle is more ultra than the Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I feel when I went to China, right, this is what I feel. It's like all these people that we saw on just now on YouTube and stuff, and they are very corporatized, meaning they have to act a certain way to be in that position.
Oh.
But you don't know them
as a person.
as a person. When you sit down with them and eat food, right, they're a whole different person.
Oh,
You could say
shit.
they have a really strong two-faced complexity in
True. So lah.
because
true,
Japan is the same thing, but China is in that sense where, I'm in this corporate.
I better fucking.
Xi Jinping is looking at me.
I better
fucking grow the shit up, lah. Like I have to be the big boy. I have to act like I'm the big boy. I have all this ego in me and stuff.
Or I disappear.
Yeah, but when you meet like their,
Bro, I'm serious.
like I show speed is like what we talk about. Just like they are meeting like the masses, the average.
Yeah.
They're actually okay people. They're
Bro,
beautiful people.
Yeah.
It's just that when you step into that corporate world, that
government
system,
facing, then have to.
then they have to act tough. They always have to act tough.
Yeah.
CGP's problem.
It's
It's a culture that they built within that society.
It's a branding they need to maintain.
Switch,
lah.
a bit of a code switch.
Yeah. You know, right? I went for a wedding. Like, I won't say where lah. And then that person was marrying a Chinese elite, right?
Yeah.
And like, the dad couldn't turn up to the Japanese wedding.
Huh? Why?
Because he cannot lah.
Yeah. Cannot.
Wait,
Actually, I'm not supposed to say where lah, but forget too late already lah. Basically, the
so-
Japanese married Chinese, but the Chinese guy cannot attend the Japanese wedding.
but the Chinese woman is an elite.
I
family,
think the family.
No, that
in
one because
government-
I think if you say elite, because last time I think Chinese people hate Japanese because of
The rape of Nanking.
the Red Monkey, like they just brutalized the Chinese people there to an extent where I had a classmate from China. She told me she hate Japanese. She never want to go to Japan.
So you see what kind of retarded mindset is that?
but that's
Bro.
like
That's the
80
ancestors.
bro.
That's the ancestors.
Yeah, bro. You know, I was just
Right?
talking to
Like
Jens.
if I meet a Malay and then if I knew what the violence that happened in May 13, then we say no lah. What you did to us was bad.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, what you did to us is what Random,
somebody called Muhammad did to
I know
Aping or some
this.
shit.
I know this person also. She's a Malaysian Chinese.
Yeah, and she made Japan.
No, she went to America to see a graduation.
Cool.
Okay, her daughter's graduation. So she's Chinese, daughter's Chinese. Then she saw this Japanese girl. Then she was like, the girl is graduating, by the way. The Japanese girl's graduating. Say, hey, you know what your ancestors did to us?
What your
That's-
friend said to that?
No, not my friend. My friend's mom.
Of course, the
said
mom lah.
to the Japanese girl, say, last time you brutalize our people, you rape our people, you chop
Chill,
off
bro.
Then the Japanese girl gonna crash, she start crying, bro. Then she's just like, but it's the truth. The Japanese girl's crying, bro. People think she's happy, but actually she's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
So right, imagine. So China still does this to Japan all the time. They always like to remind what you did to us.
Bro.
At some point, right, everyone who was involved in the rape of Nanking or the war are not going to be alive really. And the China side is still going to do this. And at some point, Japanese are like, you know what? Just fire a missile. I'm just saying, might as well, right? I do. Also, you make noise. I just fight lah.
I was just also talking to Jen's family about this, right? So Jen's grandfather, not just like it's immediate, his grandfather, her grandfather was tortured by the Japanese, She said, right, that the Japanese used to pump water into this guy, her grandfather,
Yeah. And I step on it.
and then stomp on his stomach, repeatedly, Then I was like, oh fuck, man, I feel so bad for going to Japan every year now lah. Fuck, the guy rolling in his grave, bro.
No lah, these guys all need to learn from the past
Yeah lah.
rather than live in the past lah. This guy,
know.
all these fuckers, right? They
But we've
just-
passed it. You see, that's the
Yeah.
thing. But I don't think a lot of younger Chinese, mainland Chinese, have gone past it. I think it's because they've
Because they've been indoctrinated.
Yeah.
They are
Indoctrinated,
inheriting
the hate.
trauma.
Yes.
That is the most retarded. We all know, right? If you inherit trauma from your dad or like the amount of damage that does.
Yeah, bro.
And these fellas are inheriting the trauma on a national scale. I did not. I was at the rape of Nanking, but I will inherit the trauma. Why?
It's painful.
Why?
我要钱.
Should we inherit the trauma
Bro,
from
you-
May 13?
Basically, China need the biggest, baddest psychiatrists to go there and like.
mass
you guys-
psychiatry.
Bro, you guys need to live free,
Let go.
let go of all this pain and all this
Focus
trauma.
on Swan Chai. That's it, bro.
Just taking this
But-
one incident.
Yeah, they don't have philosophers, right? From my understanding, like if you go and read all these Marcus Aurelius, all these countries have like great philosophers that
No lah, God.
ask you to let go of this trauma.
God.
God.
Yeah. God. They
But
just no. So
no one-
to your point,
Okay, yeah.
it was completely erased by Chairman Mao.
Yeah.
Chairman Mao destroyed during the cultural resolution the 4 oaths. I cannot remember. One of them is tradition and all that. Taoism, you know the yin yang? It's by this guy, Lao Tzu. He was a Chinese philosopher. God, it's just that they've severed that path. There's nothing Confucian preached against materialism.
Bro, look at fucking Gucci, Prada, Rolex, all that in China,
it's not
bro.
just that.
Mad,
It's
bro.
what he described just now about the marriage one. That is materialism to the max, bro.
Yeah. But if, I don't know lah, maybe it's just because, when you see a mainland Chinese person in Malaysia, there's automatically like, oh my God lah, bro. The guy from mainland. It's a negative connotation, right?
Yeah.
Then I will hear stories like, the fella come in the lift, full lift, bro. Like 8-10 people in the one lift, one China mainland fella walk inside the lift, straight away squat in the middle of the lift one.
Yeah.
And then you say, excuse me, they will ignore you one, Then you're like, wow, how did y'all end up this level,
Yeah.
Like to reach this, bro, I feel like you travel a lot of places in the world. Not many people are like this level,
Yeah.
Then you line up, right? Like at immigration.
Potong your line.
They will, potong line, they will lean on you. They are so loud. And you're like, how? But then when you look at all those Chinese ancestors, they are so refined one, Like even in Neza also, they're like, no lah, I will give, and they will say things like, no, it's for the people, education and whatever. Then food, culture is so strong. Then it's just suddenly like, how the fuck did that from there become squatting in the middle of the road and spitting everywhere? How is that, bro? It's
the
a destruction.
term Mandarin is used to describe a Chinese gentleman. So when I'm from the Mandarinate, if I'm a Mandarin, it means I'm like this esteemed,
A refined.
gentleman.
Yeah.
Now is
You think Confucius will approve of drinking
Confucius
drinking the
Mautai.
the feet juice? Oh yeah, you weren't here, right?
Yeah.
The feet water.
Okay, basically what I was telling them earlier is that in China, the dowry system there is that
if you cannot pay lah.
the wife or the female side will ask very ridiculous demands.
Yeah, I
The
know.
demands is
We
like
were there.
800K, like up to 800K, like give me 800K and
What?
like 2 condo.
800K.
Yeah, and 2 units of a condominium. If the husband is just a normal average
926, 996.
he can't do that. He would just say, I really can't do that.
Yeah.
How would you expect me to get 800K right now in cash and buy 2 condominium units with the level of my salary? So the mother of this woman's side is like, okay, it's very simple. You can't meet my demands of this material. Drink my family's feet. The water.
Like they soak their feet
so
in the
they
water.
soak their water. Yeah.
And then you say you must drink this water.
yeah, drink this water.
But Yura and I were like, we don't mind lah actually.
But bro, that is not the worst case
Yeah,
scenario.
it's
There's
like
a
piss
lot
also,
of like
Which I don't mind. So.
eat the shit.
Ooh.
Or like drink my
How
piss.
much?
Yeah, like it go. I mean,
Yeah,
what
but it can be bad lah, basically.
What we try to say is like, I
How
thought
the culture.
they had a culture where this is bygone already.
Yeah, but no.
The oldest civilization some more.
Kononia, yeah.
Yeah, you're the oldest civilization. You're supposed to impose a lot of like this kind of teachings, lah. Obviously, right? You like Italy,
teachings,
like all
giving,
these kind of guys. They are already like at
bro.
the most like contented form of life. Really, they don't even give a shit about their fucking finances and shit like that. Bro. They work till like fucking 2 p.m. I'm like, I'm done. Gelato time, bro. No, seriously, I went to Rome. Me and Mel wanted to go to this perfume shop because my brother said it's the best perfume there. You have to help me go and get it and some shit. I forgot it's called like La Perfume. I don't know lah. What the
La
fuck?
Parfum,
Something like that.
Something like that.
We went there at 3 p.m. midday. Every shop was open, normal, operating. This guy said, we are having gelato break. And me and Mel had to leave Rome in like 1 hour. We cannot wait for these motherfuckers. Right? We just leave lah.
Wait, he's having gelato break.
Bro, so that's what I'm trying to say. Like in China, you're the oldest civilization, but you have this corporate system that's fighting against you. Like these guys are like saying, no, in order for us to be number one in the whole wide world, we
must
have
show
to
strength.
work, we have to show strength, we have to what? But you have these other people that are actually humble and they're willing to
nice.
live a normal life, willing to live, peacefully. It's like saying, oh shit, come on lah, let's meet in the middle. Try meet in the middle. Don't release your ego. But these guys are like, no. And then you say, Xi Jinping, be the life president. Because you are the number one badass in all of us, bro. Just be the badass lah, bro. This badass is counteracting every shit, bro.
100%.
It's going against
You're
US.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
I think that's one internal challenge that China have. So there's this Chinese phrase called 内卷. Direct translation is internal spiral, or internal
A vicious
like
cycle.
competition or cycle or something like that. They're very fearful of this because the competition can be very vicious and it will tear each other apart. So to your point, you're right. That's why a lot of people are like lying flat and they are just
Want to work.
they want to check out of life, right? So there's this tension that can really break the.
How old is Xi Jinping?
72. Which is another thing. He's 72, I think 71, 72. Average age that a Chinese president steps down is about 73, 74.
Yeah, bro.
One more year.
But basically, right, I still want to go back China. I don't want to hate on China, right? China is still a beautiful country. I love China. Even US have their own problem. And for instance, there's one recent video I watched is the Amazon Prime shit. Not Amazon Prime, it's the Jeff Bezos shit. At the early stages, he said, every worker that work for Amazon have to come in fearful. Have to work their ass off. That's how we train you to live in hunger, live in survival mode. They're doing the same in China. No doubt they're doing the same.
Yeah.
It's just that I think they have reached a point where it's taking over them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They
It's
have reached
diminishing return. Really.
Yeah, it's diminishing return. At least US have still a lot of people still, saying,
There's a
"Fuck
push
this
and pull
corporate
lah."
life."
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a push and pull. That's why you meet in the middle.
But that one is it's a blanket thing in China.
It's a blanket thing. It's like, bro, when I was there, bro, okay, so this guy, right, basically we went there for suppliers,
just to
event lah, suppliers event lah. So when we went there, we went to this glass factory. This guy is the salesman, the top salesman. He was explaining about the product, explaining. But the chairman was there, bro. Then the chairman was so unhappy that he was not giving too much technical talk, which is what a salesman would do lah. I mean, a salesman won't go so much into technical.
It's layman. Right?
But he will try to pull all the... It's not like
So the chairman is unhappy that it's not technical.
Yeah,
enough.
it's not technical.
Wow.
He came in suddenly midway sit down. He tell him sit down. He's the best salesman by the way. Ask him sit down. Bro, his face totally went fucking red, bro.
Because he's fired.
And then he literally called him, not stupid, but in a way, this guy don't know what he's talking about.
But he's a
And
top
he's
salesman.
in front of everybody.
He's
In front of everybody.
He's shitting on his own salesman.
In front of everybody.
In front of everyone.
And he's the top salesman.
And he's a top salesman. It's to show a picture that we are perfect. We are perfect people, okay? We don't want to give you too much. Yeah, we don't want to tell you that, we are selling a product that we don't know about. So we want to show you that we are perfect. So I'm the chairman. I step up. I dethrone my salesman to tell you the technicalities, why we are the best glass factory in China and shit like that. But we didn't need that one. We're just a normal architects. We just look, the glass is functional. As long as it's functional, it's fine with us. Your salesman want to present the product in a way where he can
Sell the
all
product.
of us can understand. It's fine enough. But when he took over, it was too technical for us also to understand. We were like, this is getting too fucking technical.
Probably
already, bro.
said E equals
You know?
MC
Yeah,
squared.
but it's good.
pi.
I mean, for some people who really want to learn, it's good. But he is willing to the top-down culture is even more painful compared to Japan. Like,
Which,
that's how I feel.
which
like.
part of China is this?
Chongqing.
This was this near Beijing. I don't know. This is Hebei or some shit.
Oh.
Hebei province lah, but I don't know what's the place called really lah.
Wow.
Yeah, so is the top-down culture there is
it is.
is more, how to say, patronizing to the lower level compared to Japan or Malaysia or whatever.
No lah,
it is,
I've seen in Korea too lah. Actually,
maybe
something
also,
similar.
but
yeah.
this is literally putting shame to you, and you're like a mid-40s, mid-50s fellas, bro.
Wow.
You know what I'm
That guy
trying to
feels
say?
bad, man. Feels
The
bad.
level of trust is still not there, no matter you are the top salesman or the top guy in the company. If one person is above you,
that
he
guy
is
owns
above
you in a way.
He owns you, yeah. And if there's any point of time he has to shame you,
He will.
he will.
Oh,
He's throwing you
damn.
under the bus.
That is
Yeah.
so brutal, bro. Sure, uncomfortable to
Yeah.
be in that conversation.
Bro, you know that whole time, bro, all of us lost attention. We just looking at the salesman. Me, especially me and my colleague, we just looking at the
Wow, so
salesman
kasihan.
and looking at his expression the whole time. He's just very disappointed. Like,
Destroyed.
why the fuck did I do? Why the fuck didn't I? What? You know, you can see in the face like anxiety grow in him. Like he's like, I failed lah.
You can
I
feel
failed.
the second-hand anxiety also and all
His
that.
eyes were like, you know, like
Tearing up, yeah.
I don't know when you
You can tell it's a
you
body
can
language
tell
thing.
yes, the body language thing. You can tell he's like about not tear up,
Destroyed
but you know,
lah.
he's destroyed. Yeah,
Oh, man.
literally destroyed. But we are just normal, small, fucking
Yeah.
architects from Malaysia coming over to just
See glass.
see the quality of a glass, bro. We didn't need to know all this technical. You know, why would you throw down or
Your
why
own-
would you
your own
kill
team.
the ego of your best salesman just for some small Malaysian
Yeah.
guys who came over to see quality control of the
I'm assuming that guy who stepped in also went on for damn long lah.
damn long.
Yeah.
And
it's-
probably info you didn't
And
even
all
need
of
lah.
us fucking fell asleep, bro. We didn't even give a shit about the technical. No, we know the technicality of a window, like we know double
Yeah.
glazing, all this kind. It's up to it meets our standard already. We know when we went there, it meets our
You did
standard.
research before.
So you are
going
just going there to just look-see lah.
Look,
basically.
see, and eat
Eat and drink lah.
and drink. Bro, basically that is like, I don't know lah. For me, I disagree with the level of like management.
I think the more north you go, it's like that actually.
Really,
When-
yeah.
I feel I don't know why lah. When I was in Shanghai, it was like that. When I was in South Korea, it was like that. When I was in Japan, it's like that. But the moment you go to like Guangdong province and you go to Hong Kong, maybe not so much. By the time you reach Malaysia, not so bad really. You go Indonesia, chill. Everybody is like
By the
fucking
way,
already.
I'm still okay with China. I'm just saying. I still need to go
Hey,
there
no, man,
sometime,
I-
bro.
I-
Like to
I-
chill,
Yeah.
you know what
I think it's a beautiful place. I just feel
Yeah,
like
it's beautiful. It's
the
beautiful.
negatives tend to are what you remember more than the positives.
Nick
lah.
is trying
Yes,
something.
Northern is like that, right?
yeah.
Yeah. South is more chill already, I feel.
Yeah.
But
Serious.
yeah.
I don't know why
hating
lah,
on
bro.
China lah. I'm just saying the
Beijing Oh, government there.
true.
Oh, makes sense, makes sense.
Guys, I have to wrap this up. You all can continue.
No, it's okay, we can wrap up.
shit, bro.
I think it's like almost 2 hours already, bro.
Quick one. What about North Korea? Wa?
Oh yeah, North
yeah,
Korea.
yeah,
2 hours, 30 minutes.
lah,
lah,
bro.
Can we end with North Korea? Wa?
I don't know lah, bro.
Oh, so that's the X factor lah.
I don't know.
Alright.
And then I saw a picture of Kim Jong Un like surveilling some gaming chairs.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Hey, bro, they don't give a fuck, bro. It's just like cool.
Yeah, we already poor. We have no trade. Tariff. What? First time, you know.
yeah, bro. They got no trade whatsoever, right?
Yeah,
Bro?
Be cool.
They're the people, right? If you don't get to a girl, you will never feel the pain of a breakup.
What's a 10 when I don't know what pussy feels like?
Zero.
Oh, before we end, also, I want to ask, right? Do you think Malaysia is somewhat self-sustaining?
No.
Oh, shit.
Not
Okay
if you want to maintain a lifestyle.
Okay.
Actually, everyone can be self-sustaining. Right? Live off the land. We have more than enough land. We have more than enough food.
Yeah.
Right?
skills?
But if you, it's always what standard of living you want.
Okay.
At the current standard of living, no.
Okay.
We need to export tech. We are connected to the world. We are export dependent. Not as export dependent as Singapore, but we're also very export dependent. So yeah, no.
Shit. All right.
Buy iPhone, man.
You got to get your iPhone. Yeah. All right. I guess thanks for coming on.
But
Thank you
definitely
for
a
coming on
very-
today, Ren.
Yeah,
worries, bro.
Informative.
Yeah, I mean, everyone needs to know like the foundation or the background of this. Because if you just read the news, then you are either like Trump good or Trump bad.
Yeah,
or
agree.
Presidency, you know, it's like the whole kaleidoscope of context
Yeah.
that you need to understand.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah,
you just
agree.
like honestly, I feel some of our leaders, like Tony Pua yesterday, he came on saying, oh, like he's basically shitting on President Trump, and I'm like,
But you don't know why he's doing it.
why? Like,
Yeah.
why? We're supposed, anyways. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Let us know what your thoughts are. Are you gonna get a new iPhone? Comment section.
And-
Don't forget.
if anyone watched till the end, What do you think of John's hair? Rate it from 1 to 10. Yes.
And you
Red
should
Indian.
emoji the girl with braids. I don't know whether it's emoji like that, but don't like, comment, subscribe. Okay,
Right.
thanks. 2
This
hours
is
30 minutes, bro.
very long one. Vincent's
guys.
going ham, bro.